Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television, live here nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And as we always start off the Sports Web, bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, to start it out, we'll have Ozzy the Sports Junkie on with us in just a couple minutes. We'll have one of our newest writers on here. I feel like he's an old writer because he's almost on here every night. He's a part of Bucs Report family. That would be Joshua Cole Allen at 9:15. We'll have Anthony Bamonde at 9:30. Rick Brown, Mr. Buzz, more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets at 10 o'clock. We'll have Andrew Fulbert, the big board from Canada himself, at 10:30, and Nitro Nick Citro at 11 o'clock. And then, of course, your phone calls, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's go out to the web heads because we usually have Ozzy to start off the show, but we don't have anybody right now. So we will go ahead and just read some comments. Will Man, welcome back. What's up, Peter? How you doing? Best virtual edits video. Hey, Josh Roberts, what's up, everyone? Go Bucs. Randall says, are we having a season this year? Get back to that in a moment. And Ethan English, thank you, Pete. Absolutely. If you didn't get a chance to catch the breaking news last night, we'll go ahead and recap it. According to Adam Schefter, this was reported from him. One Buccaneer assistant coach had tested positive for COVID-19, and 2 other Tampa Bay assistants have been quarantined. Per sources, the one Buccaneer assistant coach who tested positive is asymptomatic. Whatever that means, we're not going to know the names. We don't know any more information than that. So to answer your question, I'm not sure, because this week has been a roller coaster. I mean, there's so many good things to take out of it, right? Tom Brady, with the pictures of him finally being released in the jersey, looks great. Gives you hope and optimism like we have on this show. We always preach that. You see Gronkowski, everybody's getting excited. You start to hear some rumors of players from other teams testing positive. The Cowboys with 4 players, the Texans with 4 players, Ezekiel Elliott being one, and then Dr. Fauci comes out yesterday saying there possibly won't be a season in the NFL. I mean, can you imagine with all the money and the resources that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have basically invested into this team to not have a season in 2020? It seems like it could be a reality. I hate to say it, but one day here, a couple days in, yesterday it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now it's hit the Philadelphia Phillies. They've had 5 players that have tested positive for COVID-19. Of course, that's right down the street from RPB Studios in Clearwater. You have the Toronto Blue Jays, who train in Dunedin, and the Tampa Bay Lightning have shut down operations at this point. So I don't know what to think. Like I said, it's like a roller coaster right now. I want to know what you think. Do you think there's going to be a season? Has this week given you not only optimism, but has it given you some reality? I mean, that would be the word we were using last night. I think this is the word we're going to use tonight. The reality of the situation. Do you feel good? I don't know how to feel at this point. Of course I want sports. Of course I want to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. I just don't know. I mean, there's so many things. And just to think about it, I heard this on today. These players are not even gotten together yet. And some of them are already testing positive. And you have a big-time spike going on right now in Florida. So your guess is as good as mine. I want to know how you feel. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Hey, kid, says Rick Hughes. Kayvon Willingham, Jamal Adams to the Bucs. That is the other big news today. We'll get to that in a moment. I don't think so simply due to salary not being able to afford him. There's other circumstances, and we'll get into it with Joshua Cole. Hell, we may get into it right now and talk to Joshua Cole about it. Ethan English, could you imagine him and Winfield back there or up in the box? Absolutely. And Whitehead, woo. I just say Michael Robinson flag to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. COVID hasn't stopped Premier League, Bundesliga, etc. Football will happen too. We'll see. Again, we will definitely see, but definitely want to hear from you. Phone line is open, but to get to that, I'll tell you what, I don't think the phone line is open. So let's go ahead and go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Big Pete!
What's,
Holy cow!
What's up, buddy? Who's this?
This is Charles. What's up?
Hey, Charles. How you doing? How do you feel about this situation, man? I mean, you get the and by the way, Charles Richardson does a great job on the Thursday Night Live show with Joshua Cole Allen, one of our newest writers on Bucs Report. And the breaking news last night, one Buccaneer assistant coach tested positive, 2 other coaches being quarantined. And now you have other sports leagues being affected by it. It kind of takes away from the optimism of those pictures being released on Twitter of Tom Brady in that Bucs jersey and Rob Gronkowski in that Bucs jersey.
You know, it's going to basically come full circle to all the Patriot fans that damned Brady for going to the Bucs, saying, how dare you leave us? Well, technically, I guess he really didn't until he finally puts on that jersey and runs out at Raymond James Stadium. But the thing with the coronavirus is this is just more evidence to the fact that it's really may just damn sports altogether.
Yeah.
Because at least for the time being, until there's a cure, until there's a vaccine, it just, you got a lot of high profile athletes that are coming down with this. Now you got coaching staffs down with it, and Kyrie Irving completely against the NBA for this very reason. I just think there's more important things to look at, and maybe we opened up way too early.
Well, I definitely think you could absolutely say they opened up too early. And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to close down? Are you going to have another shutdown? For me, it comes down to precautions. It comes down, and I keep on preaching, and I preached it last night, wearing a mask, doing the social distancing if you're going to go out. But I don't even know if that's enough now, because everybody the last couple of weeks, maybe not everybody, that's a broad stroke of a brush there by myself.
Pete, let me interrupt real quick. This is just a classic example, not even sports related, something I reported on earlier tonight on the Charles Richardson show. There was a group that went to a restaurant, and all of them came back positive.
Mm-hmm.
There was even a WWE superstar came back positive.
Right.
Because it was now what the group that went to the restaurant automatically was interviewed and said, "Yeah, we were careless." Well, no kidding.
Right.
Really?
I mean,
what was your first indication?
It's only a pandemic that's going on, and I get it. Everybody wants to get back to the normalcy of sports and hanging out and talking with each other, and that's great. We're all sociable people. We're all outgoing. But at the end of the day, you also have to use common sense. I mean, what's the difficulty in wearing a mask? What's the difficulty in practicing social distancing? What is the difficulty in that? I don't understand it.
It's not even that, Peter, because we all know, and it's been reported, the mask only prevents you spreading it.
Right.
Now, also, you're dirty, filthy people. Wash your hands. Carry on a thing of sanitizer. Clean your hands, you filthy animal. I mean, come on. You're going to go ahead and pick your nose, shake the waitress's hand, rub it into your eyes to get the crust out of your eyes that was been left there since 4 a.m., and you don't think anything's going to happen. You got to be more cautious. This is common sense, people. And if everybody practiced common sense, we wouldn't have outbreaks like we have in Texas with Zeke and the other Texans and Cowboy players that have fallen symptom to this. We wouldn't have this.
No.
You just got to practice what everybody has to be preaching: social distancing, cleanliness, because it turns out we're but some filthy effers.
Yeah, and we're on with Charles Richardson of Thursday Night Live here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thanks a lot for coming on. I want to ask you, because there's kind of been some doubling down by ESPN, Diana Rossini coming out, and I want you to comment, because you've watched both of these players, because you're a Patriots fan. You've watched them a lot, more than a lot of Bucs fans out there. But Rossini was basically putting out there that there's defensive coordinators that are not really looking at Rob Gronkowski being a high priority, that all you have to really do to shut down Tom Brady is to hit him, that this offense is going to be more, or the defenses are going to be more concerned with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And I get that, but, to rule out Rob Gronkowski with him, he's not over the hill, Charles. He's 31 years old. He took a year off, and he's still one of the best tight ends when he's healthy. Of course, the key term is he healthy? And then the doubling down was from Dominique Foxworth, who also played in the league. He feels like Diane has been talking to to the right people. Do you feel like Rob Gronkowski is going to be a threat in this offense? And do you think Tom Brady can put up superstar numbers that he's never put up before?
Who is this Dominique? And is he a friend of Max Kellerman? Because honestly, it really sounds like it.
Right.
Because number one, you got to hit Tom Brady in order to pay. Well, guess what? You got to be able to touch him first.
Right.
And who's the best person in a pocket? Broken pocket or nevertheless, a 43-year-old Tom Brady is going to know how to roam into that pocket. He's going to avoid hits. And yeah, you know what? He may get tagged, but guess what? He's in the best shape of his life. He's 43. You're not going to be able to go ahead and hit him, and he's going to get rattled. Too late. Maybe when he was a rookie or second or third year, maybe. Okay, giant Super Bowl. Okay, they got to him. Yes, I get it. Not this time around. He's too smart. He knows too much. You're not going to hit him. Rob Gronkowski, on the other hand, we don't know. 1 year off, we don't know how much rust he has. He slimmed down to a string bean. We don't know if he's got the muscle mass back again. If he does, again, you go ahead, play up against him, and see how bad you lose.
Who do you think's the breakout player on this team besides, the obvious names of Mike Evans and a Chris Godwin? Is it a O.J. Howard or Cameron Braid or somebody else we're not talking about on this offense?
I've always said Scotty Miller is going to be like an Edelman.
Wow.
I think Scotty Miller is Scotty Miller. I think Brady's going to see a lot of him. His speed, he's faster than Edelman. And I think he's got the quickness. I don't know if he's got the cut schemes or anything to be a slot, but I think he could find Scotty as a real reliable weapon, a good number 3.
Yeah, and I think Tyler Johnson's in there too, who they drafted out of Minnesota. I'm excited about him. You look at his PFF numbers. They were talking about how he was very good in the slot. In fact, like a 90 grade. And because Brady likes to throw to the slot, a lot of people assume that Chris Godwin's numbers go up. But what about Tyler Johnson? What do you see with Johnson in this offense?
You and stats.
I love stats, man.
you love the stats. You got the numbers. Listen, stats mean nothing.
Okay.
Because here's what happens. You have to learn the offense. You have to get Brady's trust, which basically is like you cheating on a girlfriend and trying to gain their trust back. That's how Brady's trust will. You have to get on his side. You screw up, if you're out of position, he ain't going to throw to you. Ask Aaron, go ahead and ask Harry of the Patriots last year. Rookie, barely got thrown, but when he did get thrown, he caught the ball, but he was barely on Brady's good side. He was a rookie. Rookies don't do well with Brady unless you're on it like toast.
It's true. We're on with Charles Richardson on Thursday Night Live. We're supposed to have Ozzy, the sports junkie, but once again, thanks for coming on the sports web. Really quick, I got a bet with Joshua Cole Allen, who we're going to have on in a couple of minutes. We got Rick Brown in the lobby, but we're going to have Allen on. I say to him, the Patriots are going to have about 4 to 6 wins this year. Do you agree with that, or could it be less than that?
No, higher.
Really? With Jarrett Stidham and Hoyer?
You don't get it. There's a system. Okay. Brady went down in a knee injury. Guess who stepped in? Matt Castle. Mm-hmm. Who?
Right.
Matt Castle.
Right.
How many games they win? 11. It's a system. Stidham has been in that system. He knows the system, and according to reports in the Patriot camp, they're very impressed with Stidham. Are they going to be a huge double-digit win? Maybe not. I'd say 9 to 10.
All right, 9 to 10. I may lose that bet. We're on with Charles Richardson of Thursday Night Live. Any final thoughts here, my friend?
Nah, man, I just wanted to go ahead and chime in. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Let's, when everything gets back to normal, who knows when that's going to be. Wings on me. All right, boss?
You got it, man. Take care.
All right, take care. There you go. Charles Richardson of Thursday Night Live. Definitely tune in to that show. I think it's like 8:30 here on Bucs Report, but does a great job. New co-host of Joshua Cole Allen just added more to it. Both of those guys are Patriot fans, but now covering what's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So open phone line if you want to call in. I saw Will Mann. I don't know where you've been, Will, but you're always welcome here in the Evolution. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Ask and you shall receive. In fact, here's our guest right here, running a little bit late tonight. Ozzy, the sports junkie. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, buddy.
Oh, Pete, I've had a rough night.
Hey, buddy.
I had to get in for some COVID-19 testing. I think I'm going to be okay.
I think you're going to be okay, but I tell you right now, the sports fans, this has been a roller coaster ride. Just talking to Charles Richardson of Thursday Night Live.
Did I get bumped for Charles Richardson? My career is over.
Charles,
I got bumped for Chuck. I love Chuck. I've been on his show many times. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. He chimed in, and it's been a roller coaster this week with all the talk and all the optimism with Brady and the releasing of the jersey. A lot of people getting optimistic.
Man, it's right. The football gods are just, I don't know what they got against us, but, I caught your show last night, and about the 20 minutes after the news was released that a Buccaneer coach has it, and I just, the whole time I was very trepidatious, guarded optimism.
Wow, Leo word. Very nice.
That is a Leo. That's a 5.
That's an SAT word there, Ozzy. Good stuff.
Cross point or whatever he calls it. I was very trepidatious, and I can't see. Now I see today, well, we set a 4 at noon, the last I checked, before I went into the hospital. 4,000 people by noon already tested positive. Do you think it's because all the people from New York and the Northeast they wanted to get the hell out of there, and now they're in Florida? But what I'm hearing, Pete, we are the new epicenter.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
No, I don't like to hear that at all. And, that's why I keep on going back to, taking the necessary precautions, because this may cost the football season or at least delay it. Give me a percentage right now, because Dr. Anthony Fauci comes out yesterday kind of in an ominous statement. There could be no NFL football in 2020. Now, the last couple of days, you see not only NFL football being touched by Major League Baseball and also hockey. Give me a percentage right now. What are you thinking sports is going to continue, whether it's football, hockey, or baseball? Is football the one that you say is going to continue out of the most, or is it basically right now up in the air?
Before yesterday, Pete, I would have said about 70% that football had a chance to go. I kind of did a little investigative research.
Okay.
I looked at what each team got. Each team, from my Geraldo Rivera type insight, each team gets $255 million in TV money.
Right.
Roughly. The Buccaneers payroll is roughly $200 million. So they could still, without selling one ticket, without selling one parking pass or one, big foam finger or a elephant ear or a bad watered down beer, they can still pocket $55 million. That's not what they want to make. They want to make $500 million a year.
Sure.
But it wouldn't be a total loss. But I just can't. That was 2 days ago, Pete.
Yeah.
I thought, well, there's so much money to be made that they're going to play a season, even if it's no fans. But now the coaches are getting sick, and it'll only be a matter of time before players get sick, because you can't keep what's the NFL roster? 56 guys?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They go home. They interact with their family. They go out with their buddies. Unless you're going to sequester them, and that wouldn't work. I don't see how it's any way possible that they're going to play football, and it breaks my heart to say that. And, I facetiously said on your chat room last night that if Winston was still coming back, I'd petition for not only cancel the season, but full rescind the franchise. But what is your thoughts? And I'll throw this to you.
Yeah.
It all revolves around Tom Brady.
Sure.
You think a year off for Brady benefits him? It's a year he doesn't get the snot knocked out of him, let's face it. And it's not like he's going to forget how to play football. I mean, the guy has mastered the snot. You think a year off could possibly benefit him? To me, it's all about Tom Brady.
Well,
it's all about Tom Brady.
Ozzy, it's definitely all about Tom Brady, and we got Ozzy the Sports Junkie here of Ozzy the Sports Junkie Network. What's the website where they can go and listen?
It is OzzyTheSportsJunkie.com.
Okay.
I got an all new studio, buddy, and I'm gonna
Nice.
I'm taking the sports web as a template, so to speak, and
thank you.
It's a lot of good things happening. So I don't want to jinx things, but you're gonna see a lot more of me and hear a lot more of me. And now with the home studio, it really lends it's a lot easier to put out content. I mean,
Sure.
When I had to go across town to do it, I'll be honest, it's a long haul, and after a hard day's work, you don't sometimes feel like it. But at a home studio, I'll go all night long. I'll go on a 12-hour filibuster. Also, I will break NFL protocol or any protocol and do play-by-play over top of it. So be prepared for that. Oh, and by the way, I have a illegal transmitter, which is about to be released upon a 30-mile radius around from my house.
Be careful now. Somebody will start coming up with some conspiracies.
Fine you. The first time's a warning, Pete. I'm a renegade. I'm a rebel.
You're a rebel.
My defense is impregnable. I'm unstoppable. I'm Howard Stern wrapped in Jim Rome. No, I mean, I think that terrestrial radio is so dead, Pete.
Oh.
No one would even give a crap. How about Joe Rogan? You talk about attention, or should I say, a shot across the bow. $100 million for his podcast, man, to move it to Spotify. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. I knew that when he was getting like 8 to 10 million listeners, I said, he's got to be making a fortune, because those are massive numbers that no TV show gets.
Yeah.
No radio show gets that.
Yeah.
And he got paid big time this week. And I think it's
good for him.
The iceberg. Good for him. I think
right.
of all the shows, he's because he doesn't go too far left, too far right. He seems kind of like a sensible guy, and he has interesting people on there.
Sure.
And all my shows I record, I do them live, and I record them all for podcast at people's leisure. And I'm sure you do the same thing. If somebody misses your show,
sure,
click it whenever they go on. Now, Pete, I got to ask you.
Well, let me answer that question with Tom Brady.
Okay.
I actually thinking about it to be optimistic, because I'm always trying to be the eternal optimist here with covering the Bucs. Look, if he takes a year off, is it going to be disappointing because of all the hype? Absolutely. But then you think about it, he'll be able to heal his body up. On top of it, he'll have more time to prepare. So can you imagine with Brady having that time to prepare, learn that offense by next year? This team will just absolutely be
I mean,
even better.
Say that the year, it's crazy to say that take a year off from football is going to benefit any team.
Sure.
But I see where a guy who's 42, 43, it might benefit him to not get the snot beat out of him.
Sure.
And this guy he's not a 43-year-old guy. If it was any other 43-year-old guy in the world, we wouldn't even be talking right now.
So you don't buy the whole thing, Ozzy, with ESPN saying defensive coordinators are not really looking out for Gronkowski and not really expecting Gronkowski and Brady to be the same type of players. And look, Brady may not necessarily be that player he was 5 or 10 years ago, but he may not necessarily have to be with all the weapons and all the things that the Bucs have done. So you're not buying the whole Gronkowski's not a priority by these defensive coordinators?
No, I mean, if you've ever played fantasy football, Tom Brady's not the guy to go to. Gronk could be a good fantasy player, but they are so loaded with weapons. Gronk can be run decoys.
Yeah.
And that leaves Cam Brate, that leaves O.J. Howard, that leaves Godwin and Evans. And I heard you talking about Tyler Johnson. That kid's got a lot of upside, man. I saw that. I was in-house, as they should say, for the Outback Bowl.
Yes.
I saw that 87-yard touchdown that he got took to the house. I mean, they got a couple of steals out of Minnesota. And, I was a little ticked up they didn't go running back second round. But you think about it, that pass defense was still soft. That pass defense was almost as bad as the running game. It was non-existent. So not necessarily the corners. The corners are playing pretty well. They came on strong with Stewart, Dean, and that the like. You draft 48 guys in 4 years. Somebody's got to stick.
Well,
but I love the hammer. He was the best safety available, and they went out and got him. And this team, let's face it, defense wins Super Bowls, and the Buccaneers, even in their worst years, Pete, they always had the hammer over the middle. They always had the Scott Brantley. They always had the Harry Hamilton, the John Lynch, if you will, who came along and just knocked the snot out of people. So
absolutely,
I'm not disappointed with that pick at all. And I just don't know, man. What society holds? I mean, if Sarasota, where I'm at tonight, and I live, they're closing down bars and restaurants, man.
Yeah,
I was just starting to feel like normalcy was coming up back to us, and
sure, absolutely.
Then, you hear the Surgeon General. I don't know if it was not necessarily the Surgeon General. I think it was the World Health Organization leader saying that Florida is the new epicenter, and this virus is more vicious and deadly than the original. I mean, that scares the hell out of me.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Now, speaking of safety, the big rumor was today, because we're getting back to football here, Jamal Adams would love to join Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, according to Ryan Clark of ESPN. He would love to be reunited, and it feels so good. We all know about that. You and Leo have that thing going on with the Jets head coach who drafted him, Bucs defensive Todd Bowles. Adams sent a tweet earlier this offseason begging Tom Brady to leave the AFC East, clearing a spot for the Jets to compete. The other teams in contention, the Ravens, Cowboys, Eagles, Texans, 49ers, Chiefs, and Seahawks. Look, he's one of the best safeties in the league. There's no doubt. But the problem is, first and foremost, I don't think the Bucs have the money. Right.
They don't have the money.
And then you just talked about all the guys they drafted. You have Winfield, who they drafted out of Minnesota, Whitehead, Mike Edwards was drafted out of Kentucky. And then if you go out and you get a Jamal Adams, just reading articles, that may, preclude you, Leo Word, from, absolutely signing, Chris Godwin or Shaq Barrett, because he wants $18 million. He wants to be paid like a top safety. So how do you feel about Jamal Adams joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ozzy?
I would be all for it, but it would take some very creative financing, wouldn't it, Pete? I mean, they're up against the cap now, aren't they? I mean,
they are.
They were talking about maybe bringing in a running back, the dude from Atlanta, and that talk quelled down really quick. And I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't see that there's enough money to bring in a top line defensive player like that. And I'm sure he wants out of. I threw out there, and I asked you on my show, what would be wrong, unless the guy's is totally broken down. But again, he has a year off. Clay Matthews available. You get it for the league minimum.
Sure. I'm all for that.
That's a former MVP,
right?
Who won Super Bowls,
right?
He's only 36, 35 years old.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what kind of shape he's in, but he played for the Rams. He was in a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Right. Well, you had eight sacks last year, I believe, for the Rams. And yeah, he's a little bit up there in age, but he's
a Hall of Famer.
Right. He's going to get motivated, and that's the Brady effect. He's going to get motivated also because this team is going to be not only in playoff contention, but Super Bowl contention. So I have no problem going in that direction. People want to sign a running back like a Devontae Freeman or LaShawn McCoy. Right. I feel like, Clay Matthews to me is a need because it definitely, you can never have enough good pass rushers, especially in this Florida Heat. You got to have that good rotation. And I get it. They have Shaq and they have JPP and, good linebacking core and Devin White and Levante David. But then after that, you got the greatness of Anthony Nelson, who I like, but he's unproven. So if you can add a proven commodity at an affordable rate, I'm all about that, Ozzy.
How about, a guy who might be missed a lot is Nassib. He was like tweener. He wasn't quite a defensive end, and he was too big to be a linebacker. But he got after the quarterback pretty well.
Right.
He go to Cleveland, I believe.
No, he went to the Raiders. Well, he came from Cleveland.
Yeah, God.
He came from Cleveland, but he went to the Raiders. He got some big money. And we're on with Ozzy, the sports junkie, here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about.
Well,
so,
Pete, if the season doesn't go, it might be the Sports Web. We'll be playing Scrabble every 3 times a week with Leo. What the hell will we talk about then for a whole freaking year?
I mean, I guess we keep on rehashing the fact of.
I can't. You know what? Hey, we go to pre-draft talk already. I couldn't imagine.
I can't.
But you know what else I can't imagine?
Yeah.
I can't imagine 100 guys getting together for training camp in less than 6 weeks.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. Yeah,
how does that work?
I don't know how. I don't know how you do the social distancing thing in the locker room. All the protocols they have to go through.
How did they get on an airplane and fly across country?
Bingo. I mean, they're going to be tested.
So many questions
right.
that haven't been answered, and it starts in a month and a half, and it all came to a head yesterday. And how fitting was it that the Buccaneer coach? If they've named the coach.
Now, they haven't named the coach. They're not going to name the coach. I mean, all these guys, and that's what was weird about the whole Ezekiel Elliott thing. I mean, he got he's positive for COVID-19, and that was weird because, of course, those HIPAA laws, which you can't really reveal those names medically. So none of these guys are going to come out. But I guess somebody got some information, and Ezekiel Elliott. But you look at Elliott and what he does off the field, it's really not surprising. He has this pattern of behavior basically making terrible decisions, and it's not a surprise. I hate to say it. I think he's going to recover. And the good thing about it, if there's anything good about all these positive test results, is that it's before the season and not during the season. That's where it gets tricky.
But they're talking about a second strand, and they're talking that we're right in the epicenter of the hurricane here. Yep. And you can see why, because, it's a summer spot, people getting out of the Northeast where it's been a hellhole, and then they're bringing it all here. And I mean, just when you felt safe to go back in the water, as they said in Jaws, but it's just such a shame. But I guess, could be worse things.
Yep.
We could be dead. I've lost an aunt in New York, and I really get ticked off if it's a hoax.
Right.
I mean, well, if it's a hoax, my aunt sure is playing along because she's laying in the ground up in Long Island. Because no one can believe when something like this happens that it's possible that it's just real. Oswald shot Kennedy. Get used to it. It's been proven. The 2 bullets came from his gun. 9/11 was a lucky shot. Two planes with a tower full of fuel. They just can't believe it. It's got to be some kind of conspiracy.
Yep.
Do I think China could have helped us out a little bit? Absolutely. Would they benefit from 400,000 people being unleashed on the earth with this virus? Absolutely. Is it trying to take over the world? But I don't know, man. It's a very, very disturbing time to live, and it's a shame because at first it was irritating.
Yeah.
But now it's changed our whole way of life.
Scary. It's scary.
It's scary. And how about University of Arizona? What do they have? 15 players.
Yeah.
What's college football look like this year? How the hell is that going to work?
Yeah, I mean those are the big questions coming out, Ozzy. Let me end this interview off on a positive note.
I know it's so depressing. I'm going to go back into the hospital.
You saw the pictures of Tom Brady in that new Buccaneer uniform. Did it finally come to the realization that he is going to be the starting quarterback in 2020? Of course, if you have a season in 2020.
Well, after I when they were revealed, I had to have a few minutes alone with the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So it came. It did.
You're
we'll
so funny.
It was unbelievable. I mean, you ever seen in that computer jersey?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You talk about a sight for sore eyes, and our eyes are bloody from quite honestly the 5 years of the worst quarterbacking I've ever seen in my life. So hell yeah, it looked good. Gronk looks good, but Gronk is what we talked about. He is going to be a distraction, a decoy. Sure, he'll get some touchdowns and some big plays, but it's all about Brady. And boy, he looked good. And what a great job they did redesigning and going back to the old, but tweaking it a little bit. I love that jersey, and I love the pewter one is just spectacular. And Tom just looks great. And people, you still get them online. You still get people online who sold their soul. Like Winston's going to win 10 Super Bowls. I said, I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances because good luck if he's selling a ticket one if Winston was coming back, and I wish him nothing but the best. Who knows? They might run Drew Brees out of town.
Yeah, I mean, who really knows? Good stuff. We never take our chances here with Ozzy, the sports junkie. Go ahead and promote yourself once again here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Absolutely, Pete, and I apologize for my tardiness tonight, but it sounds like you had a pretty strong lineup, as you always do.
Yes,
Check me out at Ozzy the Sports Junkie. Hey, I don't promote enough. Check me out on Joe Bucs Fan. I got a fresh show breaking tomorrow on JoeBucksFan.com. You go to the podcast page, and there I am. So,
all right.
That one I tend to forget my most popular outlet as over there with Uncle Ira and Lee and Steve. They're all great guys. Mm-hmm. I spent a game day with Ira Kaufman down here at the Sarasota Buffalo Wild Wings, and he is exactly as advertised. He is the greatest guy ever. We laughed, we joked. We had it's just an unbelievable. It was the highlight of my NFL season by far. But they do their homework over there. Lee and Steve catch every single piece of Buccaneer news, good, bad, or indifferent, and it's out right there on Joe Bucs Fan 24/7. So I can't promote that enough, and my show and on there. And you can also check me out at OzzyTheSportsJunkie.com. I'm on Spotify, Google, iTunes, Spreaker, Podbean. You name it. I'm looking for Joe Rogan's agent.
I think we all are. Good stuff, Ozzy the Sports Junkie. Better late than never, my friend. Definitely.
Thank you, Pete.
Always come back
hopefully
here.
We're going to hook up for some games this season and a little pregame tailgate action at a local watering hole. And who knows? Maybe we'll pull this one out of the fire.
We'll definitely see what happens. Thanks a lot, Ozzy, for joining me here on the Evolution. All right.
You got it, Pete.
All right.
Thank you, my man.
All right. Good stuff. There you go, Ozzy the Sports Junkie. Open phone line. We'll go to our guest here. We've got a strong lineup tonight. Let's go out to the webheads here. Read some of your comments. Phone lines are busy. We'll keep on calling. I can put you on hold. This is my personal phone line. So if you hear a ring, I'll put you on hold. Stay on hold. I can have about 5 calls on. That's what I do for you. I give you my personal number. Now, that doesn't mean abuse it. Call me at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night when I'm not on air. Don't do that, but call now if you want to. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go out to the phone lines. Rick from Atlanta, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind tonight, boss?
Hey, well, I don't understand why everybody's freaking out over this. Like they thought, well, oh my gosh, somebody got it. Of course somebody got it. Of course there's going to be lots of people who get it. There's going to be players who get it. There's going to be coaches who get it. And now when it happens, everybody freaks out like they didn't see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Of course some people are going to get it. It's how you deal with it at that point. Let's wait and see what's going to happen there. But, okay, so an assistant coach was asymptomatic. He hung out with a couple of other assistant coaches who we have no reason to believe they have it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all going to, self-quarantine for a couple of weeks, which, okay, they'll go back to doing all their meetings and everything by Zoom. I mean, it doesn't have to be that big of a deal, and everybody's freaking out and making a bigger deal out of it than it is. I'm not trying to play down the seriousness of COVID.
Sure.
Please don't misunderstand.
No.
I'm just saying this particular, this particular instance isn't like, oh my God, and everybody's freaking out like it is.
Well, I think that the encouraging thing, if there's anything that's encouraging out of this, is the fact that it's before the season. But also the scary thing is that you don't have all these players together, so none of the players are getting together yet. And when you have that, are you going to have more cases come out? Right now, I would have to say that that's certainly a possibility with these varying cases with other teams, and it's not just the NFL that's being affected by it. It's Major League Baseball, and it's also hockey, and it's locally here. So there has to be something done, and hopefully there is. People start taking precautions and going by what they need to do. But until then, we may hear about this a little bit more than we want to, and that's why we have to have this sports talk show. I know. What do you think about the Jamal Adams rumors? And I got to run because I'm going to have Joshua Cole Allen on.
I don't think we have the money for that. I hope we do. It'd be nice. I mean, even if it meant trading freight, I'd even be willing to do that, because you're talking, we got to win now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd even be willing to do that. But the one other thing I'm going to say really, really, really fast is, everybody's saying things like, well, Gronkowski's been out for a year. I don't know if he can come back. And then everybody's also at the same time going, yeah, bring Kaepernick back.
Mm-hmm.
He's been gone for 4 years.
Right.
I mean, why is it like, I don't know about Gronk, but Kaepernick?
It's a good point. I mean, he's only missed a year. The thing is, the biggest thing is his back healthy? Because when you saw him, and Rex Ryan mentioned this on ESPN, it looked like he was running with a piano on his back. So is he fully healed? Back injuries, they're tricky. I've had a back injury. I don't know what back injury he has, but it doesn't heal. But it's always good to be out for a year. So it'll be interesting to see. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape. He's having the time of his life, and who knows, he may be rejuvenated. I'm not thinking here that he's not going to be a threat on this offense. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's coach talk. And if defensive coordinators are really thinking about, one-on-oneing or not considering that Gronkowski is going to be a threat, I say I like the Bucs' chances. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Please think that.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you. I hope the best for both those players, by the way.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Maybe I'll call you back later. We'll see how it goes tonight.
You should. Use that second call. Thanks a lot, Rick from Atlanta. As always, strong call. I love you guys. I really do. I love the passion. What do we say on the sports web? What's the evolution? Is it a TV show? Is it a radio show? It's both. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And why do I love you guys? Because you do three things for me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and sometimes on Thursday nights late. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. All right, let's go out to the dude, and then we'll get our guest on. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind tonight, dude?
Peter, my brother, it's good to talk to you. I wanted to jump in at the beginning of the show, and because we've seen in the comments, we've heard a couple calls, and we've seen all over social media, this player tested positive, this coach, big deal. It is a big deal, and I'm going to explain to you the way the dude can only explain it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have a college program in South Carolina that has 23 players tested positive. Now, put a pin in the fact that I called them players and realize most of you who watch this show, according to the demographic, is in that 35 to 55 range, okay? That means you all have kids that are relatively close to college age, okay? Are you okay with rephrasing this and saying 23 people's kids at Clemson football tested positive for COVID because the program didn't abide by the social distancing guidelines? That's the reality. The Lightning and the NHL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, and NFL have all had positive tests. And the funny part is none of these organizations have been holding practices or activities for more than 3 to 5 days in some cases.
Yep.
So we can sit there and say, oh, political this crap, political that crap. Well, the dude is here to tell you politics have nothing to do with the reality. The virus doesn't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, a Nazi, doesn't care if you're Al Qaeda, doesn't care if you're ISIS, doesn't care if you're the guy who sits in the back of your 5th grade classroom and picks his nose and eats it. Okay?
Right.
The virus has no prejudice. It will go after anybody that it can get its grip on. Now, real quick, and I don't want to hold up the show, Peter, because you've got 475,000 guests coming on. But I want to point out, everybody, I understand, they're changing names. They're bringing down statues. They're making me wear a mask again, like the dude said last night. Each and every one of you, every person in this chat, on this thread, on Twitter, on YouTube is watching this show. Every one of you supports the troops that defend this country. And you say, we love them because they give the ultimate sacrifice. And that is to provide us with freedom. Every day they go out and they fight against the evildoers of this world for our freedom. And in turn, what we are asking as a nation is for you guys to follow the lead of our troops that you praise so highly, and do just a few things that might minorly inconvenience you. Okay. Wear a mask, practice social distancing, and wash your hands. If you, the average American, can't do that for the betterment of the country because you heard some talking head on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or one of the news channels tell you this is all a hoax, or it's being blown out, or they're cooking the numbers, buddy, look around. Okay, 23 players on one team. That's 23 people whose parents are now worried to death and questioning the judgment of the people in charge of overseeing their well-being. This is the problem. Okay, I understand you guys want to go to the bars and to the movie theaters, and you guys want to high five each other again, and you want to hug and do all that stuff. I realize you want to do body shots off the girl with the big breasts. But right now, every time that you go out and you don't do the social distancing guidelines, you yourself are putting somebody at risk. It might not be somebody you know. It might not even be somebody you care about. But here's my point, man. What is the big deal about wearing a mask and staying 6 feet away from people? Judging by your comments and your posts on social media, you really don't like people anyway. So put on a mask, stay away from them, wash your hands, and quit acting like a bunch of petulant little kids who we took away your Atari 2600 from you on Christmas morning. The fact of the matter is, people are dying. And you throw up in our face, well, people die from flu. There's flu shots for that. People die from flu way smaller ratio than they're dying from the COVID-19 virus. But here we are. We just opened up the economy. The governor of Florida decided in all of his infinite wisdom that he was going to open up all the bars, even though every medical expert told him not to. And what happened? Tampa Bay Lightning test positive. Clearwater Phillies test positive. Toronto Blue Jays test positive. People, a group of 16 people go to the bar, test positive. Buccaneer coach test positive. It goes on and on and on. Now, here's the question I have for you. If we all practice social distancing and we all did this as a team, as a country, as a nation, we would be almost through with this. But because some of you had to get a haircut or go do this or go do that, here we are back at square one. So when you're on Facebook boasting how proud you are that you're not in fear, I won't live in fear, realize because of your ignorance and arrogance, we are all staring down the barrel of this gun again.
On that note, good stuff, dude. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. I mean, well said. I don't know what you say after that. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go out to the web heads, and then we'll get out to our guests because I don't want to neglect you guys. Let's see if we can have protests and presidential rallies with thousands. You can have fans in the stands. Just wear your mask. We'll see. Michael Robinson like to step up. Tampa Bay Buccaneers a lot. Hey, Johnny, says Tracy. Hello, Tracy. Best virtual edits video. What's up, Johnny? What's up, Tracy? What's going on, Bucs fam? Thank you, Charles Richardson. Let them doubt us. Will Man, we have 4 tight ends. Ari says, let's see, Gronk will be a monster in the red zone. Share Will Man. Didn't I say Scotty Miller is a third last season? Well, look, he showed flashes of brilliance before he got hurt. We'll see what he can do because he's going to have competition with Tyler Johnson being drafted. But do I think he's got the opportunity? Absolutely. He's got to get more consistent with his hands. And maybe the game does slow down for him because he's in his second year. That may be the advantage because it looked like there were times in those game situations where he looked Marine Corps boot camp term lost in the sauce. Patriots winning 6 games. Aussie. I wonder if we're going to go after Adams. We kind of talked about that. We'll talk more about that tonight. That's the big rumor of the day. The 3 to 4 tight end battle will be interesting considering Hudson and Ed Claire have been in the system. Bets Virtual Edits Video. NBA has less players. Hockey has the best shot than the NFL. Khalifa Young, Florida COVID-19 numbers are getting higher killing chances of football. That's what we're talking about. Love this text. Love this guy. Kwame Richardson, #1 Buccaneer broadcast on planet Earth. Question for you, or better yet, an inquiry, Mr. Blake. Any word on our draft signings getting signed? Go Bucs. Nothing yet, but once they do sign, of course, I will come on here and break that news and report it as we do with our great people in a Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, a Blake Anthony, a Joshua Cole Allen, a Nitro Nick Citro, Anthony Bamunde, Rick Brown. Our people will be on it, and we will definitely cover it. So nothing as of yet, but we'll see how the Bucs will figure that out. I think the NBA does. Daniel says, then don't go this year. We'll still going back in 2021. True. Best Virtual Edits video. Gronk is a dog. Adams to the Bucs would be great. Ethan says Clay Matthews would be an amazing depth piece. I absolutely agree with that. S-Nerds, Gronk will destroy single coverage. Absolutely. I'll take your chances all day long. Question for Anthony. I read your piece about Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller. Can you expand on why you think Johnson can take over for Scotty? I just don't see it. I'll tell you what. Let's go out to our guest here. We've got Rick Brown coming up here about 10 o'clock, but we'll go out to Joshua Cole Allen, of course, one of our newest writers here on Bucs Report, and then also Anthony Bamunde. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, fellas. And the big rumor of the day was Jamal Adams, but before we get to that, there was a question out there for you, Anthony, about Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson. How do you see this battle working out?
I see it working out in Tyler Johnson's favor. I think he has more talent. And with Miller's injury last year, we just don't know what he can do. But Johnson is my go-to guy for that third spot. And he adds protection to Evans and Godwin, because if both of them are getting covered, Brady's going to Johnson. So that's how I see it.
That's how you see it. How do you see it here? We've talked about this before, Josh, but people keep on kind of putting out there, and with Scotty Miller showing up into those private workouts, people are starting to assume that maybe Miller has an advantage with him in his second year system in Coach Arians' offense. Do you feel like he has an advantage over Tyler Johnson?
I definitely think there's an advantage there. Scotty Miller has been working with Brady firsthand, while Tyler Johnson's still, at home. He's not been able to come down here yet. So with that being said, Scotty Miller definitely has a leg up on the competition. But once it comes down to it, I think talent will prevail in this point, and Tyler Johnson will be the one to go ahead. But it also comes down to chemistry, and how much chemistry is Scotty Miller building with Tom Brady now that Tyler Johnson's missing out on. And as Charles Richardson said, he is a rookie wide receiver. You saw what kind of happened with N'Keal Harry last year with the Patriots. So I don't think that happens here. I think Tyler Johnson, brings a good skill set that will play into Brady's, hands. It's just how quickly he gets the playbook, how quickly they build chemistry, and then on top of that, how he shows against NFL competition.
All right, so the big rumor here, guys, Jamal Adams would love to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. This is coming from Ryan Clark of ESPN, just to go over the quote again. He would love to be reunited with the Jets, former Jets head coach who drafted him, Bucs defensive coordinator Todd Bowles. Adams sent out a tweet earlier about Brady getting out of the AFC East so the Jets could compete. Of course, we know about Adams and how great he is. but there's some extenuating circumstances. Not only is he the best safety probably in the NFL, but he wants to be paid like that. And maybe not this year, but years down the road here, Joshua, this doesn't seem like it would make sense. But look, I think Adams would definitely fit the defense. I just don't know about the other factors if they would play. They would definitely be a little bit of a risk at this point with probably trying to sign a Chris Godwin or Shaq Barrett. That may cost you from doing that.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you there, Peter. You have a lot of, other players that need to be signed. He's looking for a big contract. Well, I don't necessarily think he's asking for a big contract if he goes to one of those teams, because if you look at the teams he listed, they're all, teams that have a chance to compete and win, high amount of games and possibly a Super Bowl. So I think that he's making about 7.1. Well, I know he's making about 7.1 million this year, 9.9 next year. So I don't think that immediately it might be an issue. And I think I heard that out there that, he might not be asking for an extension right away by going to one of these winning teams. But if you're going to be on a losing team, you want to get paid, top dog right away. So as far as that happens, I don't see us having the Buccaneers or any team that he listed off having to give him an extension right away. But it comes down to draft capital or players. And, someone in the comments earlier said we have 4 tight ends. And I think that's our position of strength right there. Obviously, Gronk isn't going anywhere. But then you have O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. So if you could make the salary cap work, maybe restructure some contracts, maybe sign Shaq to a long term, maybe sign Chris Godwin to a long term, push some of their cap hits later off into, the seasons, down the road to bring their cap hit down this year. I could see them kind of working with the salary, but now we have to talk compensation. They're asking for at least a first-round pick, and then you're probably, they want an offensive playmaker to go with Sam Darnold. You're not going to give up Godwin. You're not going to give up Johnson. You're not going to give up Evans. You're not going to give up Gronk. So it's between O.J. Howard and Cam Brate if they want them, because they have Chris Herndon there as well, if they want them, and then building a package around that. So a first in O.J. Howard, a first in, Cameron Brate, and a third. It just depends on what their asking price is and if the Buccaneers can manage it under the cap. But I don't see it as an issue if they could figure something out to get him, to play this year for that 7.1 million.
All right, and what do you think about this whole deal, Anthony, with Adams to Tampa Bay? Because it seems like he definitely wants to join the team, but again, there's some circumstances that are definitely not working out in the Bucs' favor.
I mean, I agree with pretty much everything Joshua said, but I think having Adams would really help the secondary. But again, it's almost like the McCoy situation where you have so much youth back there that you don't want to take their time off the field. But having him with Winfield Jr. would almost be unfair. But
I'll tell you what, let's interrupt you, but let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Sports Web.
Hi, Greg from New Jersey. How are you?
Doing great. We're on with yours truly, along with Joshua Cole Allen and Anthony Bamunde. You got a question or a comment?
I actually have a comment and a 2-part question.
Okay.
First of all, big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Joshua, how are you? Good to see you tonight. I know you guys are talking about Jamal Adams. I think your article from earlier today was spot on. He would be a great fit for any team in the NFL, but It makes particular sense for the Bucs. So, we can only cross our fingers and hope that they are able to somehow work it out with the Jets. And then my 2-part question is, I know he's not on the team anymore, but you gentlemen have particular knowledge of Jameis Winston. So I was wondering 2 things. Have you seen his, I guess you would call them odd off-season workout videos that he's been posting, and what are your thoughts on them?
Okay.
And the second part of the question would be, considering that he obviously has raw talent, but some execution issues, do we think that he's going to perform better now that he has had the LASIK surgery?
Josh, Josh and Anthony, you guys can take this, seeing as you're the guest on the panel here. So, Josh, you want to comment on what you've seen from Winston and his? And look, I know Otis Leverett, I believe that's his name. His trainer is, trying to get him in shape. But what do you think about some of the workouts that you've seen with Jameis Winston?
You can't. Eye surgery doesn't fix decision making, and that's his biggest problem. He's got all the talent in the world, and that's why so many fans are upset that he's not here anymore. But I was on North Sports earlier with Andrew Faber, and he pretty much said, goats don't come available almost ever. So if you have an opportunity to get a goat, you bring him in. They brought in Tom Brady because he gives you the best chance to win a Super Bowl. While Jameis might give you a good chance to win a Super Bowl in a couple of years, he's not at that point now. He was a year under Arian's system. They tried it out. His decision-making did not improve. It has not improved over the 5 years of his career. Yes, his passing numbers blew up. His passing touchdowns went up. And he looked like a better quarterback. I'm not going to say that he didn't. But you got to fix the decision-making. And until he does that, I don't care if he's got LASIK. I don't care if he hires 4 different trainers. I don't care if he's got Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Andrew Luck, all these guys, teaching him and mentoring him and giving him a back massage and whispering in his ear. It's not going to change the fact that he's a poor decision maker. And until he changes that and realizes that it's better to take a sack, it's better to throw it away, it's better to, just get rid of the ball or go down with the ball, then it's not going to change. He needs to learn how to be a better decision maker if he's really going to have a career in the NFL. You've seen what he was reduced to this year, $1.1 million. And that's not because people don't think he's a good quarterback. It's because games on the line, winning record, playoff time, even 8-8 season on the pick 6 in overtime. You can't, if you can't trust your quarterback, you can't play your quarterback, and he's got to build that trust back up, and it starts with his decision making.
Anthony, I think there's also an opportunity, and Greg, let me answer the second part of the question here. I think every fan is kind of fearful that Winston will turn it around because you're going to get a chance to learn under Sean Payton and also Drew Brees. Do you think, Anthony, there's an opportunity if he doesn't start this year that Winston could see action next year with either the Saints or another team in the NFL?
I think he'll see action with another team. I don't think it's going to be the Saints because they still have Drew Brees, and I really don't know what they're going to do after him and if they're going to re-sign Jameis, if they're going to give Jameis some reps this year. But the bright side to his LASIK is he'll be able to see his receivers now.
I think he'll have better vision and he couldn't see it. But to think that, it's not going to help, I think is also a fallacy. I definitely think it's going to help the situation. The reason why he didn't get it in Tampa, because doctors wanted him to get it when he was 25, and that was the proper time. So we'll see. We'll see if it helps. But you're exactly right, guys. It comes down to decision-making. Is the potential there? Absolutely. Of course the potential is there. But potential is the most overly used word in sports. We'll see how it plays out. Anything else, buddy?
No, I have nothing else. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the show. Love everything. Go Bucs.
Hey, man, absolutely. Use that second call if you want to. Questions. Of course, the big rumor today was Jamal Adams. But real quick, let me just shift gears and ask you about the COVID-19. The breaking news last night, Tampa Bay assistant coach tested positive. 2 other coaches quarantined. Now you hear about Dallas Cowboy players, Ezekiel Elliott and the Texans. It kind of puts a damper on all the optimism that we've heard here the last month about the NFL possibly coming out and being able to start on time, right?
It does, but we knew this was going to happen. I mean, we hoped it wouldn't, but once you open up Florida, once you open up the country without being prepared, without really knowing the ramifications, without really knowing all of the things that this virus can do, or how long it lasts, or how it transmits, or whatever, this is going to happen. I mean, Clemson, 23 players today, or 20-some players today. Now, the good thing about the Bucs situation, if there's a good thing and in this situation, is that there are no players around yet. So that's good that they can evaluate. And I'm sure they're getting data from the NFL. They're looking at the other leagues, their other situations, seeing how they handle things, and then they can determine. It does put a damper on things. It's making you think, how are they going to do this? Mm-hmm. How are they going to, and it's you've discussed it before, how are they going to have, heck, you talk about training camp, let's just talk about a mini camp. I mean, what about the 10, 11 guys that were out with practicing with Brady the other day? I mean, so it's so many questions that we don't know the answers to right now. And the NFL is trying to take it, business as usual. Let's just play it out. But deep inside, they have to be coming up with a plan to, like, let's back up. Let's back up the season a little bit until we kind of corral this thing. It's ugly, folks. I mean, it's because we don't know enough about this. This isn't like and I hate to put, I'm gonna say it. It's not like a gonorrhea or a syphilis or something where you get a shot or something and everything's okay.
Right.
We don't know. We don't have a COVID-19 shot right now, so we can't take it, inject ourselves with it, and then formulate antibodies. We don't have that yet.
Yeah.
There's so many variables, so many things that are not answered that. Whew, hello.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, you have the Phillies today in Clearwater, right down the street from me. You have the Dunedin, the Toronto Blue Jays. They play in Dunedin. You've got the Tampa Bay Lightning, big-time expectations for them. They're closing down their facilities. I think the advantage is the NFL has just a little bit more time than those other leagues, but you're exactly right here, Rick. All those players haven't gotten together. How does that work out? How does the testing work out? Can they practice all these protocols with social distancing in the locker room? What about the plane rides? I mean, there's so many questions. And speaking of a big-time question today, there was a big-time rumor about Jamal Adams to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you a guy that says, you know what? If the Bucs are in this to win a Super Bowl, you go for it. You maybe give up a player like a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin or O.J. Howard or a couple first-round picks in the future to get a player like an Adams, or do you sit with what you have?
Maybe you didn't hear me. No.
I'll back you up.
He's a great player. And let's call it that. He's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Is he $18 million? Is he $18 million player? I'm not sure about that yet.
That's what Reed made, Rick. Come on.
Listen, but one thing, the Bucs don't have that kind of money. I mean, if he goes anywhere, he's going to Philly. Philly has the money. I think the Texans have the money. But if he wants to make that much money, he's not going to get it here. So
no. Cowboys, though, your favorite team there, Rick. The Cowboys could definitely be in on it. They were in on it last year, couldn't get the deal done. Do you think that's probably the most the best situation for Adams to go to the Dallas Cowboys?
My favorite team. Nice.
I have.
Go ahead, Josh. Because
I have a crazy scenario right now. I know the Redskins, Cowboys, but I have a crazy scenario here, and you kind of seen it. Not the same. Actually, yes, the same. Brandon Cooks with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
He got traded to the Patriots. Played 1 year with the Patriots. Then he got traded from the Patriots to the LA Rams. So if Jamal Adams is willing to play under his 7.1 for 1 year. Say you trade a first and Cameron Brate, or you trade a first and O.J. Howard. You have to think if he wins a Super Bowl and if he performs like he can in Todd Bowles' defense that he already knows, and with that secondary, maybe he still holds trade value. Maybe he holds more trade value. You got to think. No one would have thought that, Brandon Cooks would get traded for first, and then next year get traded for first again. So if it's somewhat like a rental type of deal where you give up a first and you hope you can recoup that first next year, and he plays for that 7.1, and you move it around. I mean, that could be something that could be outside the box possibility. I mean, as someone who watched the Brandon Cooks thing, you never thought that was going to happen. You're like, okay, they're going to sign this dude, and that's it. But no, they traded him. The Rams ponied up a first-round pick. So that's something. And you have to believe if the Buccaneers do win the Super Bowl, that's a 32nd pick overall. Any first-round pick they're getting, they're moving up a spot. So it would be use him as a rental, say goodbye to Cam or OJ. You still move him next year so you can sign Godwin, sign Shaq back. You let that, those secondary players, those safeties learn behind him with a white head. and Edwards, and maybe Evans if he comes back. Antoine Winfield will play that free safety role, be next to one of the best, and you kind of go that way, and maybe it works. I'm just kind of spitballing. I don't know.
My concern with that, Josh, is that this guy just demanded a trade. Early on, he was talking, please, Tom Brady, get out the AFC East, please leave so my Jets can do something. And a few months later, now he's demanding a trade. Now, if he brings that same attitude down to Tampa, what is that going to do to the young boys? How will that affect the chemistry? Who on the defense is this defense now mentally strong enough to handle someone who is as outspoken and as strong minded as Jamal? And I don't know him. I've never interviewed him. I don't know him. So I'm just going by what I'm reading and what I'm seeing now. But I just don't know if you want to bring that into this locker room. If you think this locker room is starting to come together to be cohesive and be that unit that everyone thinks it can be. I'm not sure. I understand your point, and for 7-1, yeah, maybe, but there's just too many variables that I don't like. I don't like it. And the main one is this: the Jets got to want to dance.
That's
because
it.
the Jets have the cards, so they might like, nah, he's gonna suffer with us.
Yeah,
or he ain't gonna make no money.
And it also comes down to this, Anthony, and you've talked about this in your recent articles, how you really like what the Bucs did in the draft process. And I got to think that Antoine Winfield, if you get a Jamal Adams, maybe that takes playing time away from a Winfield. Maybe that takes playing time away from a Jordan Whitehead, who's a good young player.
Yeah.
Maybe it takes playing time away from a Mike Edwards, who they drafted as a premium pick last year. So I think that's all in that conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Winfield was my favorite draft pick this year. I mean, that kid is just I compared him in an article a couple months ago to a tornado with legs. He's just everywhere. He's all over the field. He causes mayhem. And if he's not on the field because of someone like Jamal Adams, then he's just wasted. He's wasted. He's a wasted pick. And they shouldn't waste that talent.
No, they
shouldn't. I completely agree. Just playing the devil's advocate role there. But anytime you can bring an all-pro, potential future Hall of Famer in, you got to at least, check the boxes and take a look at it. And I think the Buccaneers will do their due diligence. Like I said, salary cap can get moved around. They're going to want a player that can play for them this year, along with a pick. I'm looking at the rosters and thinking in my mind who could have. Like with the Eagles, like an offensive player, I don't see them being able to send anybody. Maybe on the offensive line before Brooks got hurt, but now he's hurt. You need all your pieces. The Cowboys, what are you going to give up? Maybe Michael Gallup because you just drafted CeeDee Lamb. Just kind of the 49ers just lost Deebo Samuel. So there's, they could use a tight end. So if you could package one of the tight ends that we have and that the Buccaneers have with a first-round pick and try to swap that, I mean, I think that's something they'd look into. I don't see it happening. And as Rick Brown's point as well, you really don't want to mess up that chemistry because they've been growing together, and you put someone new in there, especially like, as brash and outspoken as you said, as Jamal Adams. Although I think he'd kind of fall in line with Todd Bowles and Tom Brady and everything like that. And I know those Tom Brady comments were a couple months ago before the Jets draft, and added, Flacco. Joe Flacco wanted to make me get the hell out of there too. But I mean, they got to do their due diligence at least. That's all I'm trying to say.
And what you're watching right now is the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with one of our newest writers here, Joshua Cole Allen, Anthony Bamundi, another new writer to Bucs Report, and of course, Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown. Open phone line if you have a question for any of these gentlemen, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Go like and follow and stalk and whatever else you want to do there on social media. Let's go out to the webheads, read what these guys have to say.
I got one thing for you, Peter.
Yes.
Having Charles Richardson on earlier, and I heard you, because I was listening, I heard you ask him about the Patriots record, and he came at you with 9 to 10 wings. How you feeling about that wing bet now?
I'm feeling good still because first and foremost, you guys are a bunch of mass. You know what? You know what? We'll get back to that in a moment. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, Peter Blake? This is Blackie from Atlanta.
Oh, say it again, Blackie. Blackie from Atlanta. Welcome back, my friend. I know you had that big time surgery, a little scare, but we never had any doubts here in Bucs Report. And because you call me Peter Blake, which is very cool, I'll definitely give you as much time as you want. What's on your mind tonight, boss?
I just wanted to check in with you guys, let you know that I'm still fighting. I'm at home now and trying to get back on my feet.
Still standing, my friend. Still standing.
Yeah.
Like I think Elton John said a long time ago. That shows my age. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm older than you, so no worries. But no, I just wanted to thank everybody for the support, the crew life, Buccaneer Babes and Buckaholics, the Bucs Report, Peter Blake, everybody. It's really meant a lot to me. Kind of gave me that motivation to keep fighting and just to put my piece in. No to Jamal Adams,
okay,
a great player. I agree with Rick Brown. You don't want to mess with the chemistry. I think Winfield Jr. is a solid guy, and I don't want to have him going down the wrong way or missing time. So let's just roll with what we got, see what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And look, the Jets may want compensation. It may not just be picks. It may be a player like a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin. And I would say absolutely no way, because you have every NFL team by the you-know-what with all these weapons stacked for Tom Brady. You don't get rid of one of these wide receivers. I get it. Some people were concerned about possibly re-signing Godwin because Evans takes up $18 million. But Evans is still in his prime. Godwin is definitely in his prime. I don't get rid of any of those players. Keep all the weapons. Roll with what you have. And Blackie, it's good to have you here back on the Sports Web. Definitely don't be a stranger, my friend. God bless you.
I'm back, brother.
All right.
Y'all have a good.
Hey, get healthy, Blackie. Just take your time. Listen to what everyone says, and get stronger. But my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, Blackie. There you go. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. All right, let's go out to the webheads here. He will be in a brutal battle with Tyler Johnson. That was with Scotty Miller. Said again. Okay, I don't know why. Okay.
3 times fast.
Yeah, 3 times fast. Also, Adams would create a situation in the locker room, which is, Rick, what you mentioned here. Wow, the phone lines are coming fast and furious tonight. Let's go out to the phone lines. Curtis from Newport Richie, welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind tonight on a Friday night? Yours truly, along with Joshua Cole Allen, Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown, and Anthony Bamunde.
I got a question for all of y'all.
Go for it.
So my question for each one of you guys is, what do you think is going to be the surprise of the season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Now, the surprise for them is I think everybody is kind of discounting Tom Brady. He's done. He's on a decline, as Max Kellerman would say. He's fallen off a cliff. Rob Gronkowski.
Before y'all answer the question, I can't stand Max Kellerman. I just want to say that.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not the biggest fans of Kellerman, but he does a fair job. He gets paid a good rate at ESPN. Let him do his thing. We'll do our thing here on the Sports Web.
Hey, he can just stick to boxing.
Okay. Or rapping. If you go on YouTube, go and see him rap. He's got a little bit of a flow there. Not as good as Allen, just saying. But the biggest surprise to me is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to be lights out, and I tell you why. And the NFL is so damn scared with all these weapons, with these collection of wide receivers. The offensive line is going to be better off. This offense is going to come together. And even with all the missed time, I am an eternal optimist. Tom Brady is going to shock the world. He is going to be the MVP of the NFL. He's going to pass for over 30 touchdowns. Mark it down right now on Friday night here on the Sports Web. Go ahead, guys.
Josh?
Anthony, you look like you're about to say something. I didn't want to. He was about to go. Go ahead, man.
I think the biggest surprise is going to be Gronk. I think everyone is just sleeping on him, kind of, with those comments that reporter made last week about he's not going to be a threat to defense. I think he's going to be pretty threatening. Regardless of the missed year and the injuries, I think you're going to see the real Gronk again.
Wow, that's a nice comparison. All right, Joshua.
I'm going to go with Sean Murphy Bunting.
Okay.
All of the attention has been paid to, Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis and how they were, in the top 5 of PBUs last year and, their progression, and they're mostly slotted for the outside. But wide receivers, teams run a lot of 3 wide receiver looks, so you're going to have a third cornerback out there. And I think you're going to see a real big progression from him, getting more comfortable in that role, more picks, better coverage. I think that people aren't they don't talk about the third cornerback, but I think his play is going to elevate to the level that you're not going to be able to ignore him, and he's going to be a playmaker for you on a weekly basis.
All right, Mr. Buzz, Rick Brown, you're up.
Okay, I've thought about this, and I think the surprise is that the Bucs are going to go 0-4 their first 4 games of the season.
Ooh.
I think that's really going to be the surprise. Wow. No, just joking. Just calm down. Don't.
I was like, take.
My guy, that's what you're.
No, I think Rojo is going to be as a surprise this year.
Okay,
I think he's really going to. This is going to be the year that we see everything click and come together. And I think he's going to put pressure on the young guy, Vaughn. I think Vaughn is going to really have to but he's going to have to take a back seat to Rojo for a while.
And just to follow that up and piggyback off of Rick there, Keyshawn Vaughn drafted in the 3rd round, he's looked at as maybe being an upgrade to push Jones. I think he's going to definitely push Jones to that starting role, 724 rushing yards. And I feel like this offensive line has improved, Curtis. If they can open up those holes consistently, you can get him out into that 2nd or 3rd level. He is so special, and nobody can figure it out, but you got to watch his tape. Watch his tape when he gets out into the open field. You get him out in the open field, I think a lot of things can happen. I definitely think that progression in a second year of Coach Arians' offense is definitely going to pay dividends. I would actually bet on Rick's prediction more than anything else out of all the predictions. I like.
All right, I'm going to give you mine.
Okay.
I like either Devin White or Levante David to compete for Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow, Devin White. To me, Devin White could be the breakout star of this defense because of what he did the second half of that year when he got comfortable and you could see the plays. But again, it comes down to being comfortable, and people just don't talk about it enough, but it's that progression. It's when he's getting comfortable on that defense, he's going to be healthy, knock on wood, because he wasn't at the beginning of the year. And I also believe that Todd Bowles and this defensive staff, and you guys can comment on this, they're going to use him in different ways. We heard when they drafted him out of LSU that they were going to use him in blitz packages and getting after the quarterback. I certainly think they're going to do a lot of that this year, more than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to get him in.
Call back. My wife is calling me, so I got to answer the phone.
All right. Happy wife, happy life there, Curtis. Call back. Yes, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Curtis. Definitely get that wife call. We talked about wife issues before. I told him, keep her happy, because if you keep her happy, then you can keep on watching the evolution of sports talk television. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I definitely think, with another year in Todd Bowles' system and, actually being healthy for the full season, I think that they're going to have specific packages dialed up for him. He's got the athleticism to play sideline to sideline, and just being next to Levante David and having him learn from him under a year and just continuing to build that chemistry, you're going to see big things. And going back to Rick's surprise, I really battled right there between Sean Murphy Bunting and Keyshawn Vaughn, because I think Vaughn has the ability, as Peter Blake also said, to push him to the point where if Rojo struggles, and I believe they're going to give him every single chance that they can, to be the guy. But if he struggles, I can see the midway season Vaughn taking over. He's better in pass pro. He's better out of the backfield. And if you haven't seen him, go look at some tape and watch how he ran all over that LSU defense and SSC competition behind a makeshift offensive line. So Keyshawn Vaughn is, I would say, Rojo, Keyshawn Vaughn 1A, 1B, because if Rojo can't get it done, Keyshawn Vaughn's going to.
All right, let's go back out to the phone lines here. Rick from Atlanta, the phone lines tonight are just packed. They want to talk to you guys. What's on your mind, boss?
Hey, guys, what do you all think about this?
I think the biggest surprise is going to be the defense, because simply this. I mean, it's they're going to want to keep Brady and the offense off the field, so they're not going to want to get into a shootout, and that plays right into the defense's hands. So to me, the defense is going to. I mean, when I say top 5 defense, I don't even think it's necessarily even simply because of how they perform. It's the other teams are going to have to almost play directly into our strength. I mean, that's why I think they're probably going to be the biggest surprise by default. And if our defensive line stops the run like they did last year, it's going to get nasty.
Well, it could definitely get nasty. And you look at the way, Rick, that defense played the second half of the year. Much has been expected, of course, with the re-signing of Shaq Barrett and JPP and having Sue back. So could this be one of the most surprising aspects of the defense?
Oh, we lost Peter. First time for the night.
Yeah. Well, while Peter's having a little.
We got it. Go ahead.
I think the defense will be top 5. I mean, I agree with you, Rick. I think that while they might surprise people outside of Tampa Bay, national media and everything like that, I look at this defense, and obviously we've said it all off season, and we won't know for another month. It comes down to that secondary and how they progress. But if they progress like all of us on this show, and most of you fans out there think they are, then yeah, I don't see a problem with them finishing in the top 5 in defense.
Either.
Rick.
I'm not sure which Rick you were talking to.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick Brown. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused right now. We got Rick in the house. Yeah, Rick Brown. You were talking about this defense. Is it really that surprising because of what they did last year in the second half of the year?
Well, we'll see. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, remember, I hate going back, and I hate being a historian here, but I just remember under Mike Smith, everyone was thinking his second year, and this defense is going to be flying this year, and this is going to be this, and they laid an egg.
Yeah.
And so I have guarded optimism because it seems like the pieces are there, but it's going to take everything, and we don't know how this situation that the entire league is in is going to affect the chemistry, everyone coming together. Has everyone been doing what they're supposed to be doing? Have they been studying? Have they been working out? Have they been? It's a lot of unknowns here, and that's why I have guarded optimism that you guys could be right, that this defense could be special. But I'm not ready to put my money on it. I'm not ready to go all in on the defense yet.
Yeah, Rick, I don't know if they're necessarily special by talent as much as they're special by default in the sense that the other teams are going to just be trying to run the ball because they don't want to get into a shootout.
Yeah.
I mean, our secondary is suspect, but do you really want to get in a shootout with Brady and these receivers and these tight ends? Do you really want to do that?
Well, I think the defense, look, this offense may start out slow. If they do, if that's a possibility, could this defense carry it? Certainly it's possible with having JPP for a full year. Of course, the big-time question mark, and like Rick said, it's the Mike Smith syndrome. Big-time expectations coming into the second year of the defense because they played well the second half of the year. Can they carry that over? That remains to be seen, but they certainly have the parts to do it, and they also have the continuity. They made every move you can make to make this defense as good or better than they had last year. And then they added to it in the draft with a young player like Winfield Jr. So I'm kind of curious to see how this all transpires. But look, JPP being back a full year, okay, and people don't take that into perspective because he missed half of the year. And when he came back, the defense was different, right? So you have him back a full year, takes the pressure off of a Shaq. And I think that's where you go because, look, a great defense is predicated on the pressure you get up front. You get that pressure up front, that takes the pressure off of your back end. Anything else?
No, I want to throw some shade at one person.
Sure, go for it.
We could have a 14-2 year or some crazy great year. And Jameis 101 is going to say it proves his point that Brady has fewer fewer yards.
Okay.
Just had to throw some shade out there.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen the tweets. We've had him on here before. He's very passionate about Jameis Winston. But
yeah, that's why I brought it up. It's just funny to me.
It is. It is absolutely funny. I saw it the other day with the LFG. I know what it means, but he came up with something that's it's creative. I'll give him that.
If you're west of the Mississippi on a Thursday night game where the teams wear blue and the other one's wearing something on the color wheel that's darker than red, and Jameis's statistics are better than. I mean, it's just insane. Listen, man, you guys are all awesome. I love this group. I really love this group, and I've got you guys cast onto my big screen TV.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Hollywood Squares or something.
Yeah, isn't that everybody? We got all the personality. You got personality. Rick Brown, Joshua Cole Allen. He's got a personality. You know, he's a go-getter. He comes into the family and he's like, you know what? Let me just do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm like, whoa. You know, calm down. And then I thought this guy over here, Anthony, was 18. He's 25. And he.
I love it. Peter just said, I got to take the pressure off the back end.
That's it. I mean, that's it. I've got to bring the pressure to take the pressure off the back end, but the back end is damn good. I'll tell you that right now. From top to bottom, Bucs Report brings it. I swear to God, compare this roster to every other Bucs platform, and it's not even freaking close. The experience, the talent, the know-all, it's not even close. It's
100% agree. Listen, close. I go back all the way to I was a photographer for Pro Football Weekly. I mean, I've been around this stuff for years and years and years and years. I love this show. I love this. I mean, I wait on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I just wait for this.
Well, I tell you right now, when football season comes, we may go another day, or hell, we may go 5 days a week. You know me. I'm all about talking on the mic. This is what I love to do, and I know these guys love to do it. I don't think they're going to do 5 days a week, but you know me. I'll do 5 days a week if I can. Bring it on. All right, Rick, thanks a lot for calling the evolution of sports talk television.
You got
it.
Boss? You three are awesome, or four of
X
you.
gets the square.
All right, there you go. Get the square. Thanks a lot, Rick from Atlanta. Let's go out to the web heads here, and then we'll get back to Anthony. In fact, let's go out to you really quick. Anthony, your draft picks. You said Winfield is your top guy. Who's your second guy and third guy that you really liked in the Bucs draft?
My second guy was Tyler Johnson.
Okay.
And my third guy was Wirfs.
Wirfs, okay. Why Johnson over Wirfs? Because a lot of people would say, well, Wirfs is the number one guy. He's going to definitely fill a need. He's going to come in and be a plug-and-play right tackle. But why Johnson over Wirfs? You think Johnson makes more of an impact than Wirfs this year?
Yes, absolutely. If he's able to fill that third wide receiver spot, 100%. And like I said before, he adds more protection to Godwin and Evans. If they're covered, Brady's going to him.
All right, we're going to go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Curtis. Happy wife, happy life. I guess you took care of that situation. Welcome back to the Evolution.
Yes. Okay. So I have another question for you fellas.
Yes.
If we win the Super Bowl this year and Arians retires, is Leftwich or Bowles going to take over, or do you think they're going to get hired somewhere else?
I think to me, I'll answer this, and you guys can go through Josh and Rick and Anthony. I think it's Byron Leftwich because he's our offensive coordinator. He's the guy that you've been kind of grooming. He played quarterback in this league. The relationship I believe he has with Brady, you can already see that it's going to be close. They're going to be close-knit. You don't lose anything. I definitely think you go with the Byron Leftwich, but the experience is there with the Todd Bowles. I still think you have a Byron Leftwich. Maybe Todd Bowles stays on or goes somewhere else, but you got to keep that continuity on offense more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely agree there. I agree with Byron Leftwich stepping up. I think he's been kind of groomed. I think that's the next step for him is a head coaching gig. Todd Bowles had his shot, and not any of his fault, but he didn't succeed at it. I see him staying on as an assistant head coach because Leftwich is going to need that experience in the room. And if he's not offered a head coaching job, where else are you going to go? You're going to leave Tampa Bay, with a defense that you've kind of built, secondary that you've built, to go be a defensive coordinator somewhere else because you're kind of passed over. I don't see him getting another head coaching shot now, but that could change with a Super Bowl win. If Arians does retire, you kind of have to think, does Brady go with him? Does Gronk go with him? So now you're looking at, different scenarios there. It's all a hypothetical what if, but I would definitely think Byron Leftwich is the guy next up in line before Bowles.
Rick.
And I go the other way. I think it's Bowles.
Okay.
If Arians retires, I want Lefty to have a couple more years, 4 years as a coordinator under his belt. I think he is being groomed. I think his progression. I love his progression thus far. I just think, and especially if you have if your top guns leave and it's almost, I don't want to say rebuilding, but you have to get another quarterback and yada yada. I think you go with the experience of a Todd Bowles, and you tell Leftwich, you're the guy in waiting. You're the guy, but I don't want to throw you into the fire like they did Raheem when they got rid of all their vets and he had to start over basically. So that's why I think you go Todd Bowles.
Anthony.
I agree with Rick. I think with such a young defense, I think they still need Bowles to learn from. So if Arians retires, I don't think Leftwich gets it. I think it's going to be Bowles that gets it, so we can work with the defense further in the future. Because this team is so built on a defense, guys like Evans and Godwin they have the experience, but when you have guys like Sean Murphy Bunting and Carlton Davis, they're still young guys that need that kind of what's the word? Judgment. Guidance. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Byron Leftwich, if this offense blows up again, he'll be a hot commodity. That's why I'm not sure if you want to let him out of that building.
And you know what? I've heard things about people in Jacksonville trying to get him in Jacksonville.
Yep.
I can see that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if Tom stays, the offense stays, you re-sign Gronk, I think it goes to Brian Leftwich. But if Gronk walks away, Tom walks away, Arians walks away, I agree with Rick and Anthony, and I think that you need to keep that defensive presence there. Defense, the old adage, defense wins championships. You have a young defense, you build it up, you give the guy with the experience there, and then you kind of let Byron bring along a quarterback, whether it's Reed Sinnett or someone they draft or someone they bring in or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's a possibility. So, both of those coaches, especially Todd Bowles, from the veteran standpoint, he's been a coach before. You do have that defense in place. A lot of things change, though, if Bruce Arians leaves, because could Tom Brady leave? That's why I'm more, focused on having a Leftwich, because, you have that pedigree of maybe working with somebody that's coming in here as a young quarterback. But we'll see what happens.
Maybe a co-head coach. I don't know if that's been done before, but
well, I mean, now with Curtis, not to leave you out, but with all the rules that have been placed now, Joshua and everybody else from the NFL, you're not going to really get that opportunity to make him a co-head coach. It's going to give him the opportunity to interview with the Jacksonville and other teams around the league.
Yeah,
that's why they put those rules in
absolutely.
there. So, anything else, Curtis?
No, that's it, fellas. Appreciate you guys tonight.
All right, man. Appreciate you. There you go. Good stuff. Phone line is open, guys, and we got more than one phone line. If you call in, you just got to pause. I'll put you on hold. But we can get multiple phone calls, but the calls have been going crazy tonight. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with our newest writer here, Joshua Cole Allen. Of course, Anthony Bomonde, another new writer of Bucs Report, and Mr. Buzz himself, more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Rick Brown. Let's go out to the web ads. And we got Andrew Fulbear in the lobby, so we'll have 5 people on here. But I want to definitely make sure that we get some of these comments. We talked about that from Johnny Dean. Florida brought it out in itself by opening up so quickly against recommendation. Best virtual edits video. I heard a high school football team in Tampa came in contact with COVID. Not a good situation. Exposed. 20-plus players at Clemson. We've talked about that. The pewter jerseys are more beautiful than the Mona Lisa. I don't really think Mona Lisa is that great in the first place. In fact, it's overrated to me. There's fireworks tonight in Tampa. Big respect. What's up, Dylan? How you doing? Remember when the heat was supposed to kill the virus? I have no idea what to believe, says Eric Scott. What's going on, Dylan? Rodney says, Buck fan for life. Welcome to the evolution. Definitely tell your friends about this. Would be huge. Would think Todd Bowles would be would make an offer. Just think the compensation would be too much through the 2 years left on the contract. Bring the nonsense. No, Johnny Dean, don't. What's up, guys? Says Tampa Prep. I mean, you can bring the nonsense, but if you bring the nonsense, then you're going to get the nonsense out of me. Do you want the nonsense out of me? If you want it, I'll give it to you. I'll give you what you want. What's up, JD? Says Tampa Prep. COVID is a trick. We are all in reality. We are all in reality and wait and see mode on this thing. I don't think it's a trick. Let's be real. Think about it. Preach it, dude. Yash says, Bucs family, bring the passion. Love it from Colorado. Tampa Prep. How can players even get this or even coaches? Because everybody is getting it. Nobody is immune to it. That's the point. So happy the numbers have gone down in Michigan because people are wearing a mask. Bingo, Khalip. 19 here, dude. It's wild that people think it's no big deal. This has nothing to do with politics. Over 120,000 people dead in the country alone. The two of these people are around. Yash says, work night shifts. That's why I haven't been joining, but I'm here tonight. Good stuff. Keep on working, doing your thing. Absolutely. It's all difficult, really. Gabe says, the dude abides and spits facts. It's pretty easy, actually. Wash, mask up, and social distance. Yes, I was mentioning this the other day. Going into a gym, having my mask on, and being one of the only people in the gym with the mask. I don't understand it, but
you must have been infuriated.
I was upset, and to tell you the truth, I don't understand if you're trying to stop something, why isn't the gym doing a better job of not only social distancing, but having their people wear masks? Especially, it's a great opportunity. You can look like Bane if you wear an elevation mask. It's so opposing, it's cool, and it gets your lungs worked out. I mean, there's all kinds of good things, that you can make out of a negative situation.
I was born in the dark.
That's right. I was born in the darkness. I don't see no NFL.
I was born with this mask. You simply bought it at Costco.
Oh, that is genius. We're definitely going to get you on there. We got Andrew Fulbear. I think he does some impressions too. So we'll get you on here, guys. Do some Bane and Bat. Former FSU kicker or Teriyaki 9-6 going to be on tonight. I think that's a possibility. I see an NBA season. Not Kyrie. Kyrie does not see an NBA season. In fact, he wants the NBA players to start their own league. Great job, Kyrie. How are they going through a whole season without COVID when they can't even have these preliminary meetings and not get it? Goodness gracious, don't hurt somebody there, Joshua Cole Allen. Tell us how you really feel. Maybe I'm optimistic, but I can't see them finishing the season. Best virtual edits video. Here goes the dude with his weekly comedy. Yeah, I don't see any season, says Tampa Prep. Tampa Prep, I mean, and they're trying to bring kids back to school. Guys, I don't get that. Why are you bringing kids back to school? Keep them at home. Homeschool them. Eric Scott says, dude, all right, good stuff. Let's keep on reading these comments, and then we'll get back to it. Wow, a lot of comments tonight, so I don't want to miss somebody here. Let's see. Since he knows everything about Jameis, with the way things are, offense is going to be more situational. So positions are kind of to me. Tampa Prep, Winston may improve. I really don't know, but he's always about decision making. Think about it. Through good half of his interceptions were because of wide receivers not running right routes. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment, and it's been talked about. But it will improve with Brady, because if it doesn't improve with the wide receivers running the right routes, then he will get on them.
They won't be on the field.
Right.
He won't throw it to him. Even Arians and Leftwich can put him out there all they want, but he's been on record saying if he doesn't trust him, he's not throwing them to him. So they're just basically decoys.
Drew Brees retiring soon. 30-30, says Tampa Prep. Really don't care what Jameis does. He's no longer a Buck, and the Bucs have freaking Tom Brady. Rick says Drew Brees retire if season is canceled. That's certainly a possibility. He already has that posh broadcasting job. I think the competitor in Drew Brees, he's going to, no matter if the season happens or not, he will still play one more season. Started your career with a pick six, ends with a pick six with the Bucs. Laugh my ass off. Rick Brown, the OG. Y'all better know. Absolutely. We definitely know here on the Sports Web. Downtown Rick Brown. Jameis needs brain surgery, not eye. Jameis needs some attention. Tampa Prep, but we do have Tampa. We have Tom Brady. So, Gabe, got to go. My internet is broke. My question for everyone: Jamal Adams in the 6th round pick for OJ Howard in a 5th. Adams has worked with Todd Bowles before. Said he'd love to reunite with him. also solves the need for a tight end and gives the final piece for a secondary and clears up the tight end room. I say no to all that. That's not enough.
I would take that all day, but they're not going to take that. That's like someone you trade with last place in your fantasy league and like, yeah, sure, here. It's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. I mean,
I don't see
wishful thinking, Gabe.
That's Madden speaking to you right there. Madden GM. When players come to one Buck, I guarantee you there will be a player with it. There we go. Tampa Prep. Think about it. Half of the people who are getting tested most likely already have the virus and are now getting tested. When they come to the building, it's about not harming others and being healthy. The whole Tampa Bay area is affected, Mr. Blake. I agree with you on that, and I feel like it's a shame because it could have been prevented if there were precautions taken. But I'm not going to get on my soapbox. I'm not going to preach to you. I'm not a preacher. If I'm a preacher of anything, it's the evolution of sports talk television. Is it a radio show? Is it a TV show? It's both. It's for you. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. No divas. He's not a diva. Who told you that? Laugh out loud. Only diva I know is AB Mr. Big Chest, who's been quiet lately. That's kind of scary, especially with, here's a guy, and I hate to say it, here's a guy that I would expect, not only Ezekiel Elliott, and both of those guys probably hang out together. That's a guy that I would say, Mr. Big Chest, you have COVID-19. You know why? Because he's going to be in the bars. He's going to be doing crazy stuff that he shouldn't be doing. I hate to say it, but I think he would be a guy that would be a candidate for getting COVID. And I'll tell you what, I'll throw it out there. What athlete in professional sports, doesn't necessarily have to be NFL, can be, would you expect to get COVID-19 because of their attitude? 727-255-0391. I'll go with you, Rick, first. I know it's a shame to say, but let's play a game for a minute. Who would you expect to get COVID-19 out of this just because of their behavior?
Current players or current people?
Yes.
Darn, because I was going to say Floyd Mayweather.
Well, yeah, but, that's a good one. That's a great.
He's current. Come out of retirement to fight some UFC fighter.
Yeah, he could. He could. Current. I don't want to name anyone I know. Don't want to put them out on Broad Street. So, give me a Dallas Cowboy. Who's their wide receiver? Who's their quarterback? Running back? Ezekiel Elliott. I think he would have it.
Well, he's already asked us have it.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
Oh, I love it. His favorite team.
That's not good optics.
That's not his favorite team. Dr. Cole Allen, who do you think out of the athletes today? It doesn't necessarily have to be a football player. We like to keep it football, but let's just put it out there. NFL. Who's a guy besides who was mentioned, or you can mention it, that you think would get COVID-19?
Who was on that trip down to Florida before the
OBJ?
OBJ. There
OBJ.
you go.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
I'm OBJ. A week before or the week of the game when the Giants actually made it to the playoffs, I'm going to go out there on a boat when it's 90 degrees. I'm going to look like Jodeci, like I'm doing a music video, have all kinds of girls out there, hang out, do questionable stuff, and then after that situation, I'm going to stink it in the playoff game and definitely be photographed with an Instagram model with a cigarette in my hand. That's a great answer. Good job, Joshua.
I forgot about the pizza with the questionable white substance that was being passed around too.
The way those wide receivers play really helps. Going out there and doing that boat trip, man. And I remember Sean, the sports dom, being on the radio show at the time. He's like, man, you got to let these guys live their life. Okay, they can live their life and also be eliminated in the first round of the playoffs if they want to. Anthony
Poison.
I don't think he does it anymore, but when he did, I'd say Gronk because he was a huge party animal.
Oh, don't curse it now. Don't curse that. Don't say.
I'm just saying.
That was my second choice.
That's certainly a possibility. I hate to say it. Knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't happen. So.
Former WWE champion Gronk?
Yeah, that's right. Who lost to R-Truth, who's had the title about 125 times. WWE, can we get somebody else? I mean, you're making R-Truth look like the Ric Flair of the 24/7 belt. Come on. Characters here. All right, let's go back out to the webheads. Joshua Cole Allen. Joshua.
Hey, that's my mom. That's my mom. Back down, Rick. Don't go back to the picture, Peter. Get her off of there.
No way.
That's his mom right there.
For real?
Where you gonna get these good looks from?
Oh my goodness. Hi, Mom.
I want to be clear here. I want to be as respectful as possible. That looks like your sister. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Let's say that's not a diva for wanting more money based off of how you play. I love you, Josh. He's a Pro Bowl safety. Come on. Diva Johnny Dean demanding a trade just because he doesn't like the team he's with. Come on. Any player on the Bucs that you're going to call them diva. Tampa Prep, that's being a businessman, getting what you need for your fam and your future. Okay, right, because they can't live off the top DB money of $14 million. Wow, look at Tampa Prep and Johnny Dean going back and forth. Laugh out loud, you're wrong. Let me remind you, the Jets involved in the trade at the deadline with the Cowboys. Okay, they brought up all this BS. Johnny Dean, you signed a contract, you honor a contract. We don't need Adams in the first place. Tampa Prep. There goes the media switching the narrative again. He's not a diva. Johnny Dean, diva aside, the Bucs don't need Adams. Tampa Prep, he doesn't want to play no more. He wanted to be loyal, but he doesn't see it no more in New York. Bucs report, ask yourself this. Next season, the Bucs have to re-sign Godwin and Shaq to name a few. Can they afford Shaq, Brady, Godwin, Evans, and Gronk? Somebody will be the odd man out. So yes, you have to look at all the possibilities, who you keep and who you don't. Never said we needed him. I want. Yes, I'm just saying he's not a diva. Sheesh says best virtual edits video. Rick Brown, I need some of the food on the hill. You know, best virtual edits video. You ask for food and you always come on here with this nonsense. Everybody's trying to give you food. Now, come on. This ain't UNICEF. Alan, that beach shirts.
It's not a beach shirt. It's a nice dress shirt.
He hit
Casual Friday. Come on, man.
Friday.
Oh man.
Tonight, it's the Sports Web. It is. And bringing in Adams, they would create a Barrett situation where our number 2 pick would be sat on the bench and then left to go elsewhere to shine, not having the Bucs secondary is tight. It's okay not knowing Johnny. Let me remind you guys something. Okay, Tampa Prep. Shaq still hasn't signed his franchise tender. Who's the number 2 pick? Well, your second round pick would be Winfield. Blackie, of course, he will as soon as they can, though. He's already agreed. Round 2 pick was Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah, I don't want Adams no more. We're set. Yeah, Winfield is solid, says Tampa Prep. I think he's maybe being a little sarcastic, but maybe Johnny Dean won it. We're going to be all right. Antoine Winfield, go Bucs, says Tampa Prep. Well, that's a nice little debate by you guys. You guys agree to disagree. See how that works here on the Sports Web? It's not like Facebook where you block the guy or you're not friends anymore. You unfriend him. I'm going to unfriend you. I don't agree with you. I'm going to block you. No, you go debate and you go your separate ways and you're still friends at the end of the night. Exactly, bro. Maybe if we had drafted Winfield, it would make more sense. Tampa Prep, this guy is talking, might be drunk. Yeah, Adam's a great player. I don't know who was talking who's drunk, but nobody, I don't think, is drunk on the show. He waited too late if he requested before the draft. The Jets more than likely would have traded him to a team he didn't want to go to. Not taking anything away from his ability, just the fit and how Arians looks at things. Biggest surprise for the season will be Gronk. Blackie says Vaughn is going to be the surprise of the season, in my opinion. Tampa Prep, I'm not here for the Gronk slander. Happy birthday to Sean Murphy Bunting, the birthday boy, and, of course, the cousin of Jameis Winston. Just throwing it out there. Yes, happy birthday, Sean Murphy Bunting. Rick Brown, I was about to say, get off the Bucs report with that take. 0-4, Tampa Prep losing his mind. Who's faster, Scotty Miller or Vaughn? Joshua Cole Allen.
Probably Scotty Miller. I think he's got more speed. Vaughn's fast, but I think Scotty Miller is kind of quicker, and Vaughn can, do more of a kind of a pounding up the middle. Well, Scotty Miller's a burner on the outside, so I'd have to go Scotty Miller. I'm not positive. I don't have the 40 numbers in front of me, but I'm just thinking. I think it's Scotty Miller.
Who do you think, Rick Brown? Scotty Miller or Vaughn in the race?
Yeah, I was thinking Scotty, but I don't know.
Scotty doesn't know.
I can get the information. I can pull up their 40s right now. I'll get a different answer.
No, I think 4.51 for Vaughn, and it was like 4.3 or 4.4 for Scotty Miller. Anthony, Scotty Miller, you take?
Yeah, I agree with Josh.
And the big board is in the lobby. I have not forgotten about you, my friend.
4-3. You ran a 4-3, so Scotty Miller.
Vaughn says best virtual edits video. I agree. He's a great player, very possibly the best safety in the NFL, but seems like Winfield on the bench would be a waste. And then also Mike Edwards, who they drafted last year in the premier round. Dean will be the top cornerback this season. Bunting had a full season last year, played well, but Dean was a monster and never started a full game. I love Jamel Dean. They both have unbelievable speed. Winfield is my breakout player of the year. He may get defensive rookie of the year. Donnie Dean, the professor himself. We would have won that last game if Bunting never got injured. Happy wife, happy life. Absolutely. My advice. And remember, this is coming from somebody who is single. So take it with a grain of salt at this point. I just know a couple of things or two. Read the web heads. I'm reading it right now. Best virtual edits video. Don't tell me what to do, Joker. Before I call Alexander, don't call Alexander because he's sleeping. The defense were set. He froze. We did for a while. Frozen Peter Sickle. Oh my God, Peter Blake freaking froze. Guys, are you okay there? Buckaholics in the house. Let's see. All right, enough with the frozen stuff. Brady's gonna freeze opposing defenses faster than Spectrum freezes.
That's my journalism professor.
Oh well, then that's good stuff. Good stuff there.
My journalism professor.
Awesome. Peter's freeze. Peter's Verizon Wi-Fi debacle part 253. Hey guys, it's Spectrum. We do what we can do here on the sports web. Sometimes it's not Spectrum. It may be StreamYard. I don't know, but we'll work through it. Just relax. I got this. What happened to those Brady jerseys, Peter? I don't know what you're talking about. Rick Brown, come on, don't be scared, bro. Dan Patrick says if you're scared, get a dog.
Hold up. If I'm scared, get a dog. If I'm scared, no. The saying should be, if you're scared, go to church.
Yes, thank you.
If I'm scared, I'm not getting a dog. I'm getting my 45, and I'm putting 3 in your.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I would be scared of Rick. I would be scared of Rick right now. What is it? 8. What is that? What's that line from Regulate? I can't even think of it right now. You know what you're talking about. Let's see. Tampa Prep is crying and laughter. I need that flag, Joshua Allen. I'm watching them on the movie screen. Good stuff. I see where I see everything. Okay, well, great, Nostradamus. Tell us what the Bucs record is going to be. Have the former photographer contacts us through the page, and of course, that would be Mr. Rick Hughes. Will do. All right. Werfs is going to get a lot more playing time than Johnson. Dylan says, just hearing Mike Smith's name makes me sick to my stomach. I didn't think before this, and hearing Mike Smith's name makes me anorexic. Of course, he's alive, but he will be more productive. He will be far more valuable for sure. Tampa Prep, Mike Smith is just bad. I don't know what's worse, Mike Smith's defense or the players that played in it, especially the greatness of Vernon Hargraves, who, when they decided to line up, they did it 14 to 15 yards back. I don't care what zone defense you play. That just doesn't seem right to me at all. In fact, you might as well just play a prevent defense if you're going to have cornerbacks back up that far. I'm just saying. That defense was so unbelievably bad. Still have nightmares about the Bears game a couple years ago. Goodness, you've got the greatness of Mitchell Trubisky. I got a day off from the radio station. I had to watch that. I wanted to go back to the radio station and work. And guess what? I hated the radio station. You know why? Because my boss was still there on Sundays. There you go. Good story. With the weapons on this team, Johnson will be lucky to see the ball. Dylan says Vance McDonald single-handedly flipped that season upside down. That would be the greatness of Chris Conte there trying to tackle. We all talked about that. Everyone forgets Richardson. He also steps into that head coaching spot. Tampa Prep. Byron is, I guess he's pretty good. I thought he was saying pretty goofy, but he's pretty good. I meant Armstrong, not Richardson, and Harold Godwin is already the assistant head coach. More comments here, and then we will get Andrew Fulbear and Nick Citro on. So it's going to get packed here, guys. More buzz in the Charlotte Hornets. Why do you say that about Rick Brown? Rick Brown, do you want to share that story or shall we not?
It's like, not again.
If you share it when I'm gone.
All right. I think Johnson will have a decent role with all these weapons. Brady can spread the ball around all over, and the defense will have no idea what to do. Throw the Kyrie jersey, Joshua. Say that 3 times. Tampa Prep is just losing his mind. Bill O'Brien might take the deal there, Gabe. He may, if he were the general manager of the Jets, because he makes all kinds of terrible deals, as we know with the DeAndre Hopkins deal he made with Arizona. Complete and total robbery. Bill O'Brien should have been fired on the spot. He should have been. Too bad he's not the head coach of New York. Bill O'Brien is weird. He seems like he's very, I don't know what kind of, I will say that he has coached them up, but as a general manager, he's pretty terrible. I get the Bucs fans always wanting to chase free agents, but it's a new day in Tampa Bay. This team has finally turned the corner and developed against their own stars. All the Dallas Cowboys. We have always developed stars, just could not get that one team where everything was close to clicking since early 2000s. Since Dungy, the Bucs have had a developmental program. They have wasted talent left and right. Some have gotten lucky enough to move on to teams who could develop them. Others have not. Let's see, gone from the NFL now. Brate for Adams in the 6th or 7th. Mike, I think it's wishful thinking, but, again, John.
Don't be nice, Peter. That's someone's hitting the pipe there.
There's no leverage there. The Jets don't have to deal him just because he wants to get dealed. Yeah, exactly, Rick. Shout out to your homies there. Good stuff. We can't afford. I never liked Kazam anyway. Are you talking? Okay.
It's a great movie.
That's good. That's good, Nick.
Bad movie. It was as bad as Steel. And you know what I'm talking about?
Because that was great.
Sam was terrible. That was a terrible movie. You know what was even worse? Shaq's rapping career. That was even worse.
Oh, come on. I was going to say, that mixtape you dropped there. That was
a video game, Shaq Fu. That was good.
Oh, that was Braid's trade value is not that high. Seems like on this show, Braid is traded every year. I think the last Cameron Braid is the most traded person that never gets traded with the Bucs. We can't afford Shaq. Okay, I read that again. I'm going to keep on reading it. What's up?
Did you make a profile picture change mid show? I think you did. I think you did.
Yeah, you did that. That's good. What's up, Slick, Rick Brown, Spider, Joshua, the negotiator, Allen, and Anthony Bad Boy Bamonde. Shaq went with the drinks. I don't know what that says. Listen, Adams is a top 5 player in the Brinks. My bad. Listen, Adams is a top 5 player in the league at his position, which happens to be one of the weakest depth-wise as well as the youngest. Adams brings instant upgrade, hands down, but he is going to cost you big-time money, which may sacrifice a player like a Chris Godwin, a Shaq Barrett. Also, with future capital and picks. Do you want to do that? I guess you go all in, but there's consequences with doing it. And it's not like the Jets are going to say, here you go. Here's the best safety in the league. Take him off our hands for a 5th or 6th round pick.
Okay, Pete.
Money, picks, and experience from the young guys that are on the team.
And let me ask this, and this is to the web heads as well as you guys. And Pete, I want to start with you with this.
Yeah.
If you have a situation where you can do, where you're guaranteed a Super Bowl next year here in Tampa, if you bring in Adams, but you're throwing away your future, would you take it?
I'm all in. I'm all in at this point. I've been all in with Brady. I've been all in, but I'm not giving up Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. If you give up the future, yes, I would go ahead and do it because you put your chips on the table. The problem is that can you afford him, and are you going to get in salary cap hell? If you get in salary cap hell, you win a Super Bowl. Is it worth it?
I'm bringing back the John Gruden.
Right.
So I'm saying, do you want to do that again? Is one more Super Bowl worth that, or maybe just a playoff appearance this year and then next year continue to grow with what you have?
No, the Super Bowl is worth it. That's the end goal. And if you can get a Super Bowl, think of all the teams who haven't even been to the Super Bowl. If you can guarantee a Super Bowl with Jamal, just by adding Jamal Adams, you take that, you deal with the ramifications down the road. You put all your chips into one basket and you don't look back. You definitely take that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe my hair can't take it because I got a lot of white and gray hair, but I'll go through it if you win another Super Bowl. I'm just saying. And again, we'll get Nick Citron, we'll get Andrew Fulbear. I'm so sorry, guys, but we want to read these comments and then we'll get back to it. Vaughn has breakaway speed. Miller has elite speed. I like Vaughn behind the pads. Blake says in a foot race, it's Miller's game. Speed, Vaughn all day. Braid isn't a top 10 tight end. Look, he definitely has the potential to be very good. I don't know if he's a top 10 tight end, but he's certainly paid like it, and he took a salary cut. So also to clear up my wording, I mean Braid in a 6th or 7th for Adams. It's not going to work. Laugh my ass off, Rick Brown. I may have a couple extra flags. Hit me up on Messenger and Facebook. Oh, you guys are being friends now. Awesome. On the Bucs 2020 offensive play calling will be like, okay. Tampa.
That's good. Tune into that.
Pick or choose JPP or Shaq. More sacks. I got JPP. I think Shaq's going to have a hell of a year still. So I'm taking Shaq over JPP. You guys agree?
Yeah.
I'll agree with you.
Okay. Rick, JPP, Shaq?
JPP.
Okay. JPP, Anthony?
Shaq.
Okay. Good stuff. Shaq unintentionally created mumble rap. Bring the dude up there from the 6x9 on. No, we're not going to do that. Don't ever say sacrifice Godwin again. I won't. I'm just saying there's fans out there. Look, I see a trade today on a Bucs site or a Bucs fan page where they want to give up Mike Evans for Rashard Perryman. First, that doesn't make sense because the Bucs got rid of Rashard Perryman. They could have re-signed him. They got rid of him. They're not going to get rid of him for Jamal Adams. They're not going to get rid of a top wide receiver who, by the way, has 6 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons to get Jamal Adams. You weaken your offense. Rashard Perryman is not the answer. He was nice last year in his limited role, but the Bucs didn't want him in the first place, and you're certainly not going to get rid of Evans in his prime for even an Adams. I'm not going to. If you square Adams, you have to give up Winfield, acquire. Okay. Yes, Rick. And let's see here. More questions, and then we will get the guys on. Should with everything going on in this world, hell yeah, I take it. Ravens and Rams played the DB Bowl last year, and how did that work out? Good question. The Chiefs played great with top wide receivers. Oh, can't forget Pittsburgh. They actually got the best DB, and where did they end up? JPP. This is the year for Vea. We got the future of the Bucs now. I'm good with this secondary. The 6x9 is Canada. Who's going to be returning kicks? It looks like it could be Calais. It could be TJ Logan. Blitzburg had no offense through Johnny. Tampa Prep. JPP been working hard. He's breaking records. He says, Rick Brown, you're smart. You're OG, so you know. And big board, Andrew Fulbert. Let's get him on. Andrew Fulbert, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Tell you what, Anthony, I'm going to keep you on here, and then we'll also get on Nick Citro. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, guys.
Glasses, Nick. Woo!
We're all at the same time. What's up tonight, guys? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Well,
we getting
on.
a safety?
Well, hold on now. Let's go Nick first. How are you doing? And then we'll go to the big board.
I hear we're getting an all-pro safety. Is that happening, Peter? We're getting Jamal Adams for a 2025 7th round pick is what I'm seeing. So let's go.
According to the fans.
A 6th round pick. It doesn't make any sense to me, guys. If he's the best, they're not going to give him up for nothing. I get the wishful thinking. The big board, how do you see this playing out? Adams to Tampa Bay, you like it or you don't?
Okay, I've always said since I've been on this show that I would love nothing more than to have Jamal Adams on our team. But you see this little spider web of lines? That is how much it is going to take in order to just even have the quick fathoming that we're going to have him on our roster. We would have to release at least 5 of our players. At least, or trade 3 of them and get late round picks for the next 2 years in order to even have enough cap space to have him for 7.1. And then after this upcoming season, you're basically telling Shaq Barrett, we're not going to resign you. You're basically telling Sue, we're not going to have you, and you're going to release JPP in order to have enough money to re-sign everybody else on the back end who's going to be wanting stuff like Godwin and everybody else. Mm-hmm. So it really does not make sense unless you're really trying to blow up the culture of this to just ensure that you're allowing 0 yards of passing. Because honestly, if you get this, Winfield and Adams together would be Chancellor and Thomas. That would be awesome, but not for the price that it's going to take.
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot. It's a lot to give up at this point. And the thing is, do you want to give up that opportunity to possibly re-sign a Chris Godwin, a Shaq Barrett, or giving up those picks? Rick makes a great point, though. If it solidifies your defense and you think that puts you over the top, of course, you have to consider it. Again, though, there's ramifications for it. What do you guys think tonight? We'll go ahead and go out to the phone lines. We got lots of people to talk to. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Joshua Cole Allen, our newest writer, Anthony Bamonde, staying late here. One of our newest writers at Bucs Report. We got Nitro Nick Citro on, our analyst for Bucs Report. We got more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Rick Brown, and of course, big board out of Canada, Andrew Fulbert. Nick, what are you doing with the polls on Twitter? What's going on? I know you want to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got we did the media bracket in March, so it was just Bucs media members and it could be Twitter accounts, Facebook. Now I'm just doing general Bucs Twitter accounts. So, if you're a Bucs fan, you could get in it. I close it off, though, because I have like 80 to 90 people trying to get in the bracket. So I have the Sweet 16 play-in bracket to get to the final spot in the main bracket. That's how many people I had trying to get into this. So
wow.
We're doing the play-in bracket now. And Peter, you're in the main one. I think Andrew and Josh are in the play-in one, and they're doing pretty good. But, I didn't want to put people in that didn't want to. So it's definitely going to be interesting. We got to stir the pot a little bit. It's too boring around here.
Yeah, it is too boring around here. Although, Nick, the last couple of days, and we'll get to this, Andrew, we get your thoughts on this. The whole story has been not only these Adams rumors today, but COVID-19, the breaking news last night. One Bucs assistant coach testing positive for it. 2 other coaches in quarantine. And then you have the Lightning being threatened by the Phillies in Clearwater, the Toronto Blue Jays in Dunedin, and you have Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys and the Texans. So do you feel as optimistic coming into this week with the start of football and sports in general as you feel at the end?
I mean, it definitely took a hit. We had the Clemson players, too. I think there was, 18 or something Clemson players got it. So, I mean, this was bound to happen. There wasn't going to be a scenario where none of the players in any league weren't going to get it. So, we're still, a month or 2 away from training camp, about a month and a week. And then we've got preseason games. I mean, it's going to come up quick, and I'll be interested to see kind of what, is the NBA even going to play? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it looks as, optimistic as it did. And the NFL probably is relying on the NBA to follow their guidelines with COVID and have sort of a sheet to copy, so to speak. But with Jamal Adams, I mean, it's the Bucs have not signed any of their draft picks. So after they do that, they'll have $400,000 left. I've said that on a bunch of shows before that. If you want Jamal Adams, you have to cut Levante David and Ryan Jensen. That'll give you $20 million for this year. Do you really want to cut those 2 players for Jamal Adams? Plus, on top of that, you have to give the Jets compensation, for the trade. So you're going to have to give up, a first, maybe 2 firsts, a first and a second, and another player. So it's going to take a lot. I mean, you can do it if you want, but I'm not willing to give up the starting center and Levante David for Jamal Adams.
Andrew, how do you feel about all this stuff about COVID-19 and, of course, Jamal Adams rumors?
Well, with COVID-19, I mean, I don't want to speak too negatively on it. It's not looking good. I mean, we talked about the second wave about, a month ago and what it could possibly be. I mean, I hate to say this as well. It's kind of a good thing that it's happening now, because if it's a 21-day quarantine after that all these teams are going to have to do, then they may actually hit the dates. But it's not looking good, but it's also not necessarily looking bad for the NFL anyway. MLB is not playing, and the MLB is screwed. And I hate to say that, but fire Rob Manfred like yesterday, 72 hours ago. But I do digress. Going back to the Jamal Adams here, if we're going to trade for him, someone there has to know that if you trade for him and you're willing to give up all that, it's basically then Super Bowl or bust. Then I start jumping on the bandwagon that you, Peter, have been trying to tell me since I first got on here. Then it's Super Bowl or bust. If it is anything less than the Super Bowl, and when you trade for Jamal Adams, then all is for nothing. And you can take the 2 years. You can take the 2 years, especially with the Tom Brady contract. But if you don't get that Super Bowl in the 2 years after you trade for Jamal Adams, it is all wasted, and you have no picks basically going forward to try and help you get out of this slump that you're going to be in.
And Rick will be joining us here a moment. I think he's having a little tech issue there. So we're on the Sports Web, the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Open phone lines if you have a question for Joshua Cole Allen, Anthony Bamonde, Nick Citro, of course, Andrew Fulbert, the big board out of Canada, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. So we kind of talked about this, Nick. What's the biggest surprise? Because Josh, what was your biggest surprise? And Anthony, go ahead and reset this. Your biggest surprise that happens, and then we'll go around here. Joshua, go ahead and say what your biggest surprise was with the Bucs.
I said Sean Murphy Bunting. Like, a lot of attention's been paid to Dean and Davis. How they were top 5 in the league in past breakups, and how they kind of came on and are projected to be the outside guys. But Sean Murphy Bunting, in a league that spreads the ball out a lot with 3 wide receivers, I see him just growing on what he did last year and becoming a player that can be relied on consistently and make big plays. And then my 1B was Keyshawn Vaughn. I feel like they're going to give Rojo every chance and opportunity to be that dog and be that guy. But if he can't, Keyshawn Vaughn, especially, if he can prove it against NFL competition, has the skills to replace him around midseason if Rojo can't get it down.
Anthony.
My biggest surprise was Gronk and how he's going to perform this year. I think he's going to have a breakout year. I think missing the 1 year is going to help him a lot, regardless of the injuries. And I know that that article came out last week about, he's not going to be a threat to defenses, but I think he will be. I think he's not going to be 100% because of all the injuries, but I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to have a good year.
All right, Nick.
What are we doing? What we think is the biggest surprise in 2020? Is that the question?
For the Bucs, yes. I said Tom Brady over 30 touchdowns. I think a lot of people are kind of taking him for granted. They're taking him for granted. I think he definitely will produce this year a lot better than some people think. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'll steal Josh Allen's 1B. I think Keyshawn Vaughn's going to be the next James White. He fits that mold so well. As long as Brady's here, I'll preface that. As long as Brady's here, I see a lot of people thinking that Rojo can be that pass catching back, and he's definitely put in the work in the offseason, but I just need to see it on the field. I know me and some other people have argued about his hands, his route running. I think he can develop into an all-purpose running back, but I think this season, or the first half of the season, is going to be the Keyshawn Vaughn show, receiving out of the backfield.
Wow.
The clock's ticking on him. Like you said, he's got a timer, and if he doesn't get to it soon, then he's going to be replaced. And I just like Keyshawn Vaughn's running ability more than James White, too. I think he could be a more dynamic player. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
Antoine Winfield, whether we get Jamal Adams, is probably going to be like the next Cam Chancellor. That's what I've been preaching. I'm not going to lie. You look at the way that he's played, you let him get a little bit of like 3 more yards in that off field and stuff like that, man, he is going to tear it up. But the other one I'm going to call, because the way that this defense is set up, it is proper grooming for this. I do honestly think that Devin White can become our own version of a Luke Kuechly. There is some videos out there that we have not talked about of Devin White doing some stuff that I have not seen many linebackers be able to do. Like run down wide receivers, be able to tackle some of the biggest offensive linemen off of their own, stance and stuff like that. It is incredible. Those 2 guys are going to do something this year that we have never seen before.
All right, and of course, let's bring in Rick Brown here, who wasn't a part of the stream. Now he is. Welcome back to the Evolution. I think we got you on. Hold on a sec here. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Rick, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, and you said Ronald Jones. You think Ronald Jones is the guy that's going to be the surprise this year, right?
Didn't I say that? Do I have to repeat myself here?
Yes, because we got Nick and Andrew. I wanted to reset it. So,
oh, my bad, my bad. Look, hey Pete, I haven't had my drink tonight, so I'm a little on edge. So,
cheers, buddy.
Give me a quick second. Hold on.
All right, take a drink. There you
Okay. Yes, I think Ronald Jones is going to really blossom this year. This is going to be his year. He's going to feel pressure from the rook to really excel, and I think he's going to take off. He's going to blossom.
All right, let's go.
I'll give you one more.
Okay.
I'll give you one more. Donovan Smith is going to be a Pro Bowler in 2020.
Don't.
I seriously believe that.
Donovan Smith.
The skills.
Donovan Smith is going to be a Pro Bowler in 2020.
What?
You heard it here.
As a left tackle or a right tackle?
It doesn't matter. Left tackle. We'll go left tackle. June 19th, 2020. You heard it here first.
Wait, as a replacement or as a starting? What's the semantics here? Because, I mean...
No, that doesn't matter. As long as you got the Pro Bowl sign next to you.
Hey, I gave you the field last bet. I'm not giving you the field this time.
Right.
Donovan Smith will be a Pro Bowler in 2020.
That's got to be the biggest and boldest prediction for the night from Nitro Nick Citro there.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet for some Connecticut pizza.
The best New Haven, the best pizza in the world is right here in New Haven. So
I'm just gonna put this out there. Hungry Howie's to me is the best pizza out there. Butter cheese crust, bacon and pepperoni.
Just a plain cheese.
Hungry Howie's.
Nothing.
Cheese.
Love it.
I've never even heard of Hungry Howie's, but it doesn't sound very good.
Shout out Golden Bakery in Thunder Bay, Ontario for having the best pizza in Canada.
ABC Pizza and Lutz.
I live in New Jersey, so there's a plethora of good pizza. So
New Jersey's got good options.
All right,
but New Haven is the best.
All right, let's go out to the phone line. Let's go out to Rick from Atlanta. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You got a question for the board?
Dude, I've lost all respect. Hungry Howie's?
Yes!
Oh my God, right?
Have you ever been to New Haven, Connecticut?
No, I have not been to New Haven, Connecticut.
You've got to go to Modern.
What is it, Disney?
Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Absolutely.
I mean, Modern is. I'm telling you, man. You literally. It's like you hear angels when you get the pizza. It's amazing. It's like it's transcendent. Why you don't need to be a Buddhist? You just need to go to Modern.
That doesn't even do it enough justice.
Wow,
that's right. It's just it's amazing.
Is it the pan? Yes, I like Hungry Howie's pizza. Okay,
Hungry Howie's isn't even as good as like Pizza Hut and Domino's and their crap.
Come on!
Oh, yeah, that's
look,
Marco's and
there's some
Polos
on your pizza.
Polos.
Wait a minute. Butter cheese crust, bacon and pepperoni. Now you notice I like bacon a lot.
Ooh.
Bacon and cheese in my omelet. Okay, so
Peter doesn't eat vegetables. He eats Hungry Howie's. He likes boneless wings.
I like
boneless wings is boneless chicken.
Jerk.
I mean, Hungry Howie's like.
What's the point of a boneless wing?
Will you shut up? We're trying to look in the ring. What do you say, Rick?
Cheese food.
Oh, geez. Whatever. All right.
Oh, man.
Anything else?
No, I just go take a vacation, man. Go to New Haven. It's worth it.
All right. New Haven, Connecticut. That's on the dock. Appreciate you, Rick. All right. All right.
Caesars.
727-255.
Little Caesars.
We're doing.
I love my hot and ready.
We got Anthony Bamonde. We got Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown, Nick Citro here. And, of course, we got the big board himself, Andrew Colbert from Canada, talking pizza. Let's go out to the heads here. Doug Hodges says, Dylan. Jaden Mickens makes the roster. Are we familiar with I'll go to you, Nick, and then we'll go down the line if you guys know who he is. But, Nick, first,
I don't know who he is. I don't know.
He's a wide receiver. He's going to try to win a spot on this roster. I'm just looking at the wide receiver. You pretty much have 3 to 4 locks right there. You got Godwin, Evans, Johnson, and I'm putting Miller as a lock right there, unless they bring someone from the outside.
Is he the kid out of Washington?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
But then they brought in a plethora of small school guys as well. You got John Hurst, Travis Johnson. So those guys are all going to be competing, as well as what's the third guy's name? Justin Watson. So you have your top 4, and then you have Cyril Grayson too, who's got that blazing track speed. So you got all these guys competing, and it's going to be best on best, and whichever one of these guys emerges to be that 5th, possibly 6th wide receiver. Depending on how many tight ends they keep, they might only keep 5. He's got a chance. It's in camp. What can he do? What can he? All these players have a chance this year because of no OTAs, it's camp. Camp is their audition. So It's coaches have no, besides college tape and game tape from wherever they've been. They have nothing to go based off on. No OTAs, no mini camp. Who was hot then? So these guys are on that level playing field. So it's just who performs more, who performs better, who shows more upside. So he could do it, but who knows?
All right, let's go out to Dwayne Beatty. That would be my OT. Hello, everyone. Special shout out to our own stand-up Polk County, Mr. Rick Brown. Goodness gracious, he remembers you from the radio edition. And thanks so much for being there for my favorite nephew, Peter H. Blake. Thank you very much.
Anytime, Dwayne. Anytime.
There you go. Canada. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Christopher? This is some Brady Bunch stuff. It is.
Hells yeah.
He's drunk. Nick, I need my boy to win that poll. I bet on him. I think you're talking about me or somebody else. You're talking about me. The poll master. Go ahead.
I don't know what you got to type in what account is your boy.
I hope it's me. I need.
No, you're in the main one. This is the play-in
Peter,
bracket.
come on, this is about us little guys, man.
Man. Me and Josh.
I did it based on Twitter following, so it was fair. So I don't want to hear anyone get upset about their seating and whine and complain.
I'm not complaining. I know how many followers I got.
I'm not saying you
Britney
are.
Spears following me, so hopefully she tunes, votes for me too. Who knows?
Hey, I got Nick Citro following me. Okay, I'm good.
All right. Well, Jameis 101 doesn't, hijack it. I think we should be okay.
Just notice I have the poll master below me. Should I be nervous?
There you go. I need bacon. Andrew, you guys will get 2 MLB teams, says Tampa Prep. Dakota Dixon. Let's see. Honestly, if you're going to take if you guys are going to take as much as you guys are saying, then we can forget Adams. I'm good with the squad as it is. All right.
I just want to virtual edits mention Dakota Dixon, and I know Citro also, or Nick Citro, sorry, also has mentioned that the Buccaneers do like him a lot, but they brought in some stiff competition, have some stiff competition there. Justin Evans is healthy. We talked about Javon Hagan. You have Dakota Dixon. You have a couple other players, Andrew Adams. So you have a stiff competition there, along with those. What we'd call 3 locks in Whitehead, Edwards, and Winfield. So, again, it comes down to, like I said, with Jaden Mickens putting it down on the camp and seeing what sticks and, who comes and who goes. But as Citro has said on the show before, they like him a lot for whatever reason. But we'll see. Go ahead.
Nick, go ahead.
I kind of agree with what you're saying when you said for whatever reason, because I know they like him a lot, but I mean, he's an expendable player in my mind, and they did add a lot of competition with undrafted free agents. So if he makes the team, he's going to be, 4th on the depth chart, maybe 5th if they keep 5 safeties. So, I don't think he's nearly a lock as people think. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We've got 3 locks right now, and then I think that last spot's a little bit more open.
Adams and Evans right there. What's Evans' surgery looks like if the season gets pushed out, and then
I wasn't even assuming Evans was coming back at all. So if he comes back, then it's even less of a chance.
Yeah, and Anthony really likes Winfield. I mean, he's been talking about Winfield Jr. Everybody's been talking about him. So
If I could compare Winfield Jr. to a player now, it'd be Jonathan Abrams from the Raiders.
Wow. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, that's a very good one.
Why do you think that, Andrew and Anthony? Go ahead. Well, go ahead, Anthony.
Okay, because they both have that same playing style. You know, they're both intense. They're both all over the field. They're pretty much ball hawks, and they love to hit. They love hitting the other team. That's why.
I like it. And he's got a Metallica shirt on. I don't know if anybody noticed. That kid is doing good. Andrew, what do you see with Winfield and
It's same thing. He loves to hit, and I don't think anybody really is going to expect him. They're expecting all these other players on the defense that started coming and showing what they were really worth and stuff like that with the last 6 to 8 to 10 weeks of the season. They're not really going to be doing that much homework, though I do think a lot of teams are going to be doing a lot of homework just based off of the amount of time they have at home. But Winfield's going to be kind of going under the radar because, you know, the Bucs have 3 safeties that they could easily use and put into the system in the first week or 2 and let Winfield come in every so often and then plug and play him after week 4 and watch it flourish from there. Winfield is going to hit people. He's going to be a hard hitter. He's going to be not Drake or Patrick, but the guy that the Steelers traded for. We could have drafted him. Thank you. We could have drafted him. We had a chance to draft him. He went kind of under that radar a little bit. He got traded for highly because the Steelers knew what he was going to do. This is kind of what Winfield is going to be, is under that radar, hard-hitting safety who is going to become basically our Jamal Adams in the next 2 or 3 years. Not maybe as many Pro Bowls, but he's going to be a damn good safety in this scheme with Todd Bowles.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
He's got some Isaiah Simmons to his game.
Yeah.
And, those big dime packages where you have Whitehead, Edwards, and Antoine Winfield all over the field. Where's it going to be? It's going to be in the box. It's going to blitz. It's going to drop back. It's going to play a linebacker role. It's just going to be so interesting to see. And like Anthony and Andrew said, he likes to hit, so it's going to be interesting.
It's just perfect.
Rick, do you have big-time expectations for Antoine Winfield Jr.? Because not only he has the talent, but also his pedigree. His father was a very good player in the league.
Oh, most definitely, as we talked about on draft day. I mean, his pedigree, and he's a ball hawk. Everyone's talking about his hitting ability. I like the fact that the ball just seems to find him. He tracks the ball so well, and I think that's going to really help the secondary a lot.
I think so too, and you need that. You need a guy that can always find the ball. You need the ball hawk, but you need a guy that has the great ball skills. And I'm not trying to be perverted. I'm just saying that's what they say when it comes down to scouting players. He's always around. He always has a nose for that football. So the Bucs defense definitely needs that. And I think that's why a lot of people are looking at Adams, because he can do a multitude of things. He can cover, he can hit. So that's why he's one of the best safeties in the league, if not the best safety in the league. Of course, you got Derwin James, who everybody's kind of forgotten about. All the
From where is he from?
Florida State.
No. But where is he from?
Oh, Polk County. State. And on that note, you're on the Sports Web, the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Joshua Cole Allen, the newest writer on Bucs Report. You also got Anthony Bamonde, another new writer for Bucs Report. You've got Mr. Buzz himself, more Buzz in the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Rick Brown, the Nitro, Nick Citro, and of course the big board out of Canada, Mr. Andrew Fulbert. Open phone line if you want to call up and talk to us, have a question, have a comment, whatever you want to talk about. Jamal Adams, who could be the big surprise this year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? COVID, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391.
I got a quick question for Rick Brown here.
Yes.
So Rick Brown, just the way that you brought up Derwin James there. Yeah. Do you remember back in the day when the Buccaneers screwed up when we drafted Bo Jackson? When someone says they do not want to come here, maybe somebody finally listened and didn't draft the player who didn't want to come here.
Yeah, perhaps.
So I just wanted to get that out there. My apologies.
No. Good. I mean, we talked about Bo Jackson, I think last week, actually.
Exactly.
So definitely.
Bo Jackson. What could have been if he could have stayed healthy, and if you played for the Bucs and Culverhouse wasn't a jackass and screwed up his eligibility at Auburn. All right.
Yes.
Let's go back out to the webheads here. If teams don't think Gronk will be productive, thank you later. Vaughn over Ronald Jones. That seems to be the debate, and I think that's one of the storylines. But guys, this week when Byron Leftwich had his little sit down in a Zoom meeting, and Josh, you were there, he basically said in so many words, we're happy with the running backs that we got. In fact, he really likes the fact that the Bucs organization drafted a Vaughn, drafted a Calais, who nobody's talking about, could be a smaller version of David Johnson. So, let's go down the list here of why Leftwich likes this running back situation. Are you surprised, Josh, that Byron said this?
No, not at all. I mean, like we spoke on, and Rick Brown has, Rojo as his surprise for a reason, is because they like Rojo. He didn't do much his first year. Last year, he split carries pretty much evenly with Peyton Barber, and you saw the production there. Yes, there were things he needs to work on, pass protection, catching out of the backfield. You saw Dare have a majority of those catches out of there. But as Nick said, you've seen videos on him on Twitter of him, working out on those route running, working on catching with his hands. Sure, or at least I hope he's working on his pass protection. So they really like what he's doing. And then last year, Light said if Vaughn came out last year, they had a second round grade on him. And the fact that he went back, and not because he diminished skills as a player, but because of the team and other players coming out, they had a second to third round grade on him, so they were ecstatic to get him there. So I mean, if you have a running back rated that high, and we've talked about his pass pros catching the backfield, running behind one of the worst offensive lines in the SEC in the nation, and still gashing up LSU. And then you bring back Dare, who was a serviceable guy, can catch out of the backfield, special teams. They really like what they saw out of Logan before he got injured as a potential returner. And then, as you just mentioned too, Calais, who Bruce Arians compared to a smaller David Johnson, who's got that speed, that shiftiness, that quickness, and the hands out of the backfield. So you put all those guys together. The only thing they're missing, experience, a veteran back there. So that's why you keep hearing these names: Devontae Freeman, LaShawn McCoy. The one name I would look at, the Patriots are one of the most up to the cap. I think they have the least cap space in the league. And they have a plethora of running backs. They have James White, Sony Michel. They drafted Damon Harris in the third round, Brandon Bolden, the Arizona running back. I forget his name, but he's been kind of lighting up, and people are talking about him. Rex Burkhead. If Rex Burkhead gets cut, he's got a little bit of an injury history there, but he's got experience with Tom Brady. Tom Brady knows him. He trusts him. You remember he won that game for them in the AFC Championship against the Kansas City Chiefs to bring them to that Super Bowl against the Rams. So there's that familiarity, that trust. If he gets cut, I can see them bringing him in at a cheap deal to bring in with Rojo, Vaughn, and then you'd have Rex Burkhead.
Anthony, are you surprised at what Leftwich says? I mean, what do you think about this running back? Do they need to add a veteran, or you think they're good with what they have?
I think they're good with what they have. They got like what Joshua said, they got Rojo and they got Vaughn. I mean, what else do you really need?
Yeah, okay. Simplistic, simple to the point. Let's go, Rick Brown. You seem like you're happy with Ronald Jones and Vaughn and Calais. Are you surprised that Leftwich would come out? And does it necessarily mean if the Bucs do get all their draft picks signed that they could be interested in a Burkhead or possibly a McCoy as a veteran?
I mean, and we talked about this before as well, that if you can upgrade your talent, I mean, if with someone who's proven, especially with the young guys who, with this situation, and we always have to bring up this situation because I think it affects rookies and younger players more, the veterans who've been through the song and dance of training camps and know how to prepare, how to be pros, whereas these guys aren't or don't know how yet. So if you can get a vet, then do it. But if not, then roll with what you have. And from the Bucs, hey, I'm cool with rolling with what I have, but I'm always looking.
Nitro Nick Citro.
So when you look at the depth chart, I think this is really what they hope their team looks like. If you compare it to the Patriots, they want Ronald Jones to be the Sony Michel, the guy that they can rely on. I think it was the same year you were talking about against the Chiefs when they went on to beat the Rams. Sony Michel carried that Patriots team throughout the playoffs. I mean, that's what they want Ronald Jones to be. They want Keyshawn Vaughn to be the James White for Brady. Dario Gumbawale can. I don't know if he's as good as Rex Burkhead. I had a lot of issues with him last year. But Raymond, I think it's Calais, something like that. They want him to be the primary kick returner. That's the only reason they drafted him. They're not looking for him to make an impact on the offense. This team has not had a kick returner since 2008, 12 years ago with Michael Spurlock. That's the reason they drafted this kid. So if everything plays out like they hope, that's what it will look like.
Big board.
It's really when it comes down to Vaughn and Jones, it comes down to the real question of Peterson or Geis, White or Michelle, Ingram or Dobbins. It doesn't really matter for us. It's a good problem to have. We have two running backs that could easily split 1,500 yards, but if they're going to add anybody, I would watch out for them to make a trade, for maybe throw a 5th, 6th round pick around through the league and stuff like that. And maybe ask Kansas City what it would take to get, their Damian Williams or Darwin Thompson, or, even ask Washington what it would take to get Adrian Peterson in that last year of his contract to get in there with Tom Brady. They are probably going to do something that we're not thinking of if they're going to get a running back. But I do think that they're pretty much stuck with the 3, maybe 4, with the 4 to 5 that they have right now, and I think they're pretty happy with it.
With Byron Leftwich, we can go around about this. His play calling last year, even though this was the 3rd ranked offense, there were times this year, fellas, that you would agree that there was some questionable play calling. With Tom Brady coming into the fold, do you think that play calling gets better, Josh?
I do, and one of the points I'm really interested in seeing is, he obviously talked about it in the press conference that it's going to be his offense, it's going to be Bruce's offense, and it's also going to be Tom's offense. I'm just looking to see how much freedom and flexibility that Tom gets at the line. And that's one of the things that Bruce Arians mentioned, check with me plays, no huddle. Tom is very good at doing that, looking at a defense, dissecting it, and changing the plays. But at what point does it come that, like you said, Leftwich kind of struggled with plays last year. At what point does it become that Tom's going up to the line and changing the play so often where it becomes an issue and there starts to get some friction between Leftwich and Brady? And then at the same time, we're talking about Bruce Arians here. He's going to want to get his hands in the cookie jar and play with those toys a little bit. So how much play calling does he take away, or how much overruling, or what with Byron himself? So I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, if something goes wrong, I see kind of Byron being left on an island and Bruce and Brady kind of running that offense if, Brady keeps changing it and Bruce really wants to get into it.
Anthony.
I think it's going to be a mix between Byron's offense and Brady's offense, because I wrote a piece on it earlier this week, and Leftwich said that Brady's going to have a lot of input, and they're going to use that input, and they're going to tailor this offense to what Brady wants and what he needs. So I think this is more about Brady and less about Leftwich and Arians. So that's how I see it.
All right, Rick Brown, Mr. Buzz.
Brady is going to have the major say-so of what's going on. That's why they're going to love him. He can come to the line and immediately say, "Oh no, that's not going to work." I also think because of his experience with Josh McDaniels, that he's not going to not intentionally step on Leftwich's toes. I think he understands roles, because he could have done that in New England anytime. And I think Byron is secure enough in who he is and what he's accomplished, that, and being a former quarterback as well, that he'll understand what's going on. I mean, it could get ugly though. If worst case scenario happens, it could get ugly. And I agree with you, Josh, that Byron would probably be the one left out because the quarterback whisperer would want to get in there.
Exactly. And you've seen Brady go off on McDaniels, and you had that piece. And Peter's favorite Brady post ever has been when he said, "Enough with the nonsense. me and Josh McDaniels never had issues. He's like my brother. They've been together for 15, 16 years. So that's a relationship that you can go to the sideline and be like, blah, 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 and go off on Josh and know you're going to be good. What happens when Byron starts calling bad plays or something happens and Brady goes to him? This is a new relationship. They're just figuring each other out, and not just figuring each other out. We just saw what happened when coaches reported. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if there's going to be training. We don't know anything. They haven't had an offseason besides Zoom meetings, pretty much doing what we're doing, talking and discussing things. They haven't had real time to be with each other and build that connection. So what happens if Byron starts making bad play calls? Tom Brady comes over on the sideline. That's going to be a national story. It was with Josh McDaniels when it shouldn't be. So that's another thing to watch out for. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they'll be fine, but it's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch.
Nitro Nick.
It's going to be fine. I mean, I don't see Leftwich as a guy that has an ego and is going to care if Brady changes the play at the line of scrimmage. You have to expect Brady is going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. He's done that the past 20 years. That's what Tom Brady does. And if the team is winning, nobody's going to care what the play call was on 2nd and 3 in the 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Nobody's going to give a damn. So, I don't think it's really going to matter that much. I think Leftwich is going to be the primary play caller, and Brady's going to make Leftwich look like a genius because he's going to go up there and make all these adjustments that Jameis was not allowed to do and have some success with it. So the concern I would have, I'm looking way into the future, is if Brady makes Leftwich look like a play calling genius. And then Leftwich gets hired as the head coach come 3 years from now, gets a rookie in, and he kind of takes over play calling again and goes back to how we saw in 2019, which frankly I was not impressed with at all in certain games. He definitely had moments, but he was average to a below average play caller last year in my mind.
Well, there were times in the third and the fourth, down where there was questionable decisions. Even in that first game, I think it was a third down play or a call that was very, very conservative. And then the fourth down, it didn't really make sense. So if you're going to go conservative on third down, at least come out with something better on fourth down. And it didn't happen.
Sorry, say that again.
I said, Big Board, what do you see? Well, what do you want to add to the conversation?
So Brady has had the pleasure of being with Bill Belichick for the last 20 years, and in that time frame, Bill Belichick has bred his own version of his coaching carousel, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady is now going to be able to groom, like everybody has said, Byron Leftwich a little bit here, and if anything, kind of what I brought up in our little group chat there before, kind of as a joke, but what if Tom Brady's kind of being like an offensive coordinator type, magician, I guess you would say, kind of like Bruce Arians is the quarterback whisperer. What if Tom Brady's starting to do that with the coaching? He can come in and actually be the player, and when Byron actually makes a play that he knows is wrong, and they have this little, scuffle back and forth, which we've seen Brady and Belichick have had. But the problem is before, Belichick has the final say. So Brady's going to do whatever Belichick did in that culture. Tom Brady came over here to have a little bit more flexibility. Bruce Arians, being the head coach, can then come in and mitigate, which is going to be a learning lesson for Byron on a massive scale, which teams are going to see. And then on the flip side of it, it's going to allow Tom Brady to show everybody else what he is going to be capable of doing on the flip side of his career, which is helping the coaching mentality going forward. because of what he's got to experience with Bill Belichick. So I think that the schemes and what he's going to be able to, bring for Brady is going to be amazing. But we are going to have those scuffles here and there at the beginning of the season when it comes to those plays that we can't predict, because it happens. We can predict the analytics throughout all the way through. But there's a reason why I said the Buccaneers will go 10-6 at first and then slowly get back up there and take that momentum to the playoffs, because you can build on the failures that can happen at the beginning of the season. You can't build on them at the end of the season.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. So, I mean, last year, it's kind of unfair to say Byron. I'm hard on Byron Leftwich, but I don't know every time who is calling the plays. A lot of times in critical moments, Bruce Arians is saying, okay, it's 3rd and 4. I want this play because I think it's going to work, and he overrides everyone. So, that's going to be the play. And you're watching on TV, you don't know who's calling it, and that's how it's going to be. A little bit this year as well, where if it's on the red zone on the 10-yard line and Bruce Arians says, I think this play is going to work, he's going to override Byron Leftwich. I mean, Tom Brady is too, but he's going to come in with his input whenever he feels it's just, you know what I mean? So he's going to get to play with his toys, as Josh Allen says. And I think he plays more into the play calling role than people might think.
All right, good stuff. What you're watching right now is the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with newest writer here on Bucs Report, Joshua Cole Allen, of course, Anthony Bamunde, Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown, more Buzz in the Charlotte Hornets, Nitro Nick Citro, our analyst for Bucs Report, and, of course, the big board out of Canada, Andrew Fulbear. Let's go back out to the webheads here, see what they have to say. Okay, we went through that. People forget Von Bald in the SEC behind the worst team in the SEC. Let that sink in.
The worst O-line in the nation, not just the SEC.
I mean, I think it's probably worse than Florida State. That's saying something. And both of those running backs, Nick, you talked about this before with Cam Akers and Vaughn, very comparable statistics. One got drafted in the 2nd round, the other got drafted in the 3rd. I think the better competition is the SEC than the ACC, just saying.
Oh, yeah, it's not even close. I mean, I guess it's close, but, I mean, Vanderbilt had one of the worst offensive lines in college football last year, so.
Well, hopefully this offensive line isn't as bad as it was last year, because if it is, then you're going to have some problems. But I still think if he's productive behind a bad offensive line, that's good for the Bucs. I don't think the offensive line is going to be
He's shown he can do it before, so the offensive line doesn't step up,
I do know Vaughn will be working. I know his trainer also, Rojo, Luke Neal. Those boys have been working. We've seen that online. Devin White is a legend already. I need Ali Marpet to train Smith. They have some good chemistry here, Rick, both Ali Marpet and Donovan Smith. And I think that's going to work out. And I also think, again, it comes down to, if you look at some of the sacks last year, you could definitely say that Winston held the ball a little bit too long because he was trying to make plays, which sometimes is a good thing. But also, you live to fight another day. So maybe with Brady and his quick release, that will improve the offensive line, especially on that left side with Smith and Marpet.
That's the hope.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. Because and plus they came in together,
right?
So I mean, they should have a good chemistry, even though they started on opposite sides. But I mean, I don't know how close they are as friends or anything like that. But I know they consider themselves close. That rookie class consider themselves close, including the former 1st-round pick who's no longer here. So, I think that could help. That will help, especially with Brady.
And Nick, you watched his film. You don't really think that Donovan Smith is that bad. You think he's a Pro Bowler this year with Brady under center, right?
I mean, he has his moments, and I said this all the time throughout the offseason is, I mean, coaches say it too, where you have that one bad play. His just happens to be horrifically bad, where it's a strip sack against the Cowboys, for a touchdown, or, Jameis Winston getting killed in the backfield against the 49ers. I think Jameis Winston actually eluded pressure in the clip I'm thinking of, but, Tom Brady makes everyone around him better. and it's going to increase the pressure of the offensive line to protect him. And people say, why didn't they do that for Winston? And I guess that's a fair point, but the matter of the fact is, they're not going to want to get chewed out by Tom Brady, and they're not going to want to look bad on film, when they let their guy get through and sack Brady. So I think there's going to just be a heightened, level of urgency that we haven't seen by this offensive line, especially with Winston, where Donovan Smith, if this team plays well and gets in the playoffs, there will be players that make the Pro Bowl that we probably didn't expect.
Yeah, and I think, look, Donovan Smith has all this potential. He was drafted as a premium pick in the second round. Maybe not necessarily his natural position at left tackle, more of a right tackle out of Penn State. But I think, everybody says, well, he's a weak link. I think the rookie on the right side, I think he's going to be good, but he's still a rookie. I believe with Smith being in that left tackle spot, maybe he definitely settles in. And once again, I think it comes down to the style of offense. Maybe that fits better with Smith and his abilities. Let's go back out to the webheads here. Vita and Devin White going to have huge years. I think we all are kind of seeing that right now, especially with Vita Vea. I mean, you look at his tape, guys, and anybody can jump in on this. His tape against Nelson, against the Colts, where he's manhandling people, he's taking on double and triple teams. You always heard this excuse with Gerald McCoy. Well, he's taking on double and triple teams, but he's not as effective. Vita Vea taking on double and triple teams, still being effective at the point of attack.
Yeah, he was multiple times just an arm's reach away from a sack, and you gotta love hearing Todd Bowles from his presser earlier that Vita snaps are gonna jump up, instrumentally, and he's gonna be a bigger part of this offense. Defense. They're gonna have more snaps for him, which means more opportunities. And you just gotta hope that his play continues to grow as well, and he becomes the player that we all think he is.
Has anyone ever wanted to watch a game where a defensive tackle and an offensive lineman were going at it? I circled that game because I knew the capabilities of what was going to happen. I didn't give a damn what Winston was throwing. I didn't give a damn what anybody else was throwing. I was watching Quentin Nelson move to a spot and Vita Vea move to spots to play on each other every single time. And even double coverage and Quentin Nelson having help was not helping him half the time. So
Quentin Nelson has revolutionized the offensive line in let me ask you this. How many times have you seen an offensive line highlight before Quentin Nelson? Never. There's no offensive line highlights. You go on social media during the season, and it's like Quentin Nelson's season on the offensive line. People are posting highlights left and right. I mean, it's incredible how good he is, but Vita Vea doesn't get the credit he deserves either. I mean, the Rams game, he absolutely dominated.
Yes.
The Giants game, I think he dominated too. But, like Josh said, he's an arm's length away, from a sack. And he's
Every
not the guy
time.
that's going to get big sack numbers. I mean, if he gets 6 or 7 sacks, that's a good year. He's just kind of occupying space for other players to get around the edge. So I think Vea's probably the most underrated player on this team. I think fans are kind of understanding what he means, but I still think there's a level of I can't think of the word, just underratedness, if that's a word, that people just don't understand his value still.
Being to the next level.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we're all looking for this team in general, to take it to the next level, and all these players to really come out, and you really believe that Vea has that opportunity. And I just remember, Rick, everybody saying, well, they should have drafted Derwin James, and of course he's a local guy, not a Florida State. And man, Vita Vea, he's a bust, and you didn't even give him a year to play. And now you see the reason why Jason Light and this organization went with Vea in the first place.
Indeed, and I think that's what a lot of our problem is, that if they don't produce right away, and then we always have the 2020 goggles and look back, oh, well, you see how this kid is doing, or you see how he is doing. Some positions it takes longer to develop. Some positions you don't get in right away to do what you're supposed to do. Some positions you're hurt in the beginning, and then you come on. So, And it's hard in the NFL because the NFL, as we all know, is not for long. At the same time, though, it does take time, and you need patience, and the Bucs' patience is paying off right now.
Yeah, it definitely is paying off, and you can
Yes.
see right there with Brady wanting to come here. He already sees not only the talent offensively, but most likely he sees the talent defensively, and that's all because of guys like Vita Vea.
And I just got two things to add to that too. Vita Vea only improved, it only helped him improve by bringing a guy like Ndamukong Suh in here.
Thank you. Let Drew set you free, because everybody was fighting me on this last year, Blake Anthony, about how Gerald McCoy was a cornerstone of this team. And what I said was to Blake, basically the reason why they brought in Suh is, first, he was a better fit in the 3-4 defense, and also he could show him how to be a professional. People were saying, oh, well, Suh's a bad guy and all this other stuff off the field, on the field. He had a couple incidents on the field. He was playing hard, maybe a little bit too rough on a quarterback. He did step on a player, which wasn't a good look, but that was years ago. You're exactly right. His leadership cannot be undervalued, especially with Suh. It can't.
Yeah. And I mean, John McCoy is a phenomenal player, not to take anything away from him. But if you said, hey, you can learn from Peyton Manning, or you can learn from Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, give me both guys to learn from. And that's what he kind of got with Joe McCoy and Ndamukong Suh. Second, not enough attention was brought to Quentin Nelson's celebration. Not just the best celebration for a big man all year, but that keg stand celebration was the best celebration by any player all of last year. The guy was a beast. I just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, we're going to wrap this up because it's been about 3 hours, and I see Anthony Bamonde. He's getting tired there. His laptop is ready to roll out here. So let's read the rest of these comments, and then we'll get
1%.
1% right now. Let's go ahead, get you out of here. What are you working on here next, Anthony Bamonde?
I put a request in to interview Antoine Winfield Jr.
Ooh, hells yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I put the request in, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's taking the initiative. Can they follow you on Twitter or friend you on Facebook somewhere? What's going on? Go ahead and promote yourself.
Yeah, my Facebook and my Twitter is just my name, just Anthony Bamonde. Simple.
All right. We'll get you out of here. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Sports Web. All right, boss?
All right. See you next week.
All right. Good. Keep on rocking that Metallica shirt. That's very cool. Always come in with a good rock shirt on. I can definitely accept that. All right, let's read the rest of these comments, and then we're going to get out of here for the night because we've been burning the midnight oil. Let's see. There's a lot of
I love oil.
I bet you do. Pressure, bus pipes. We will find out. Tampa Prep, Little Caesars is the best pizza. Dylan, I wish Alex Fleming was on here to hear that D. Smith prediction. Laugh out loud. Alex Fleming, not the biggest of fantasy flavors. He'll be on tomorrow. Turf Talk at 10 o'clock on Bucs Report. Not the biggest Donovan Smith fan here, Nick Citro, so you may have a little bit of debate coming here eventually.
Oh, there's already debate because I tweeted it out.
I see some of the usual suspects. Go ahead and check it out. So there you go. Nick, thanks a lot for participating. Alex Swimming would say, let me remind you, best virtual video. Never mind, Peter forgot your food. You have no taste. Whatever. Andrew was thinking the same thing. Ha. Taylor Allen, Hungry Howie's. What? Come on, Taylor. I love Hungry Howie's. Hungry Howie's not even a pizza place. It is.
It's not like a Chuck E. Cheese. I don't even know what it is.
Chuck E. Cheese pizza is better.
666. What the hell is this? What are we doing? Johnny Dean, Tampa Prep, 666. What are we doing here? Best virtual edit, 666.
On YouTube, yeah.
Peter likes his pizza the same way he likes his internet.
That was gold. I'll give him that. That was gold.
He's had two great ones tonight.
Meant to hit that, but missed it and hit 666 instead. Laughed my ass off. Tampa Prep's laughing. Rick, Hungry Howie's next up with spaghetti with chopped up hot dogs. That's Italian. Come on. Let's not do Skyline Chili now, all right?
Skyline Chili.
You're from Polk County. That's what Tampa Prep is.
No, I'm not from Polk County. I worked in Polk County.
That's right. That's funny, Rick.
Put me in that county.
Peter H. Blake's comment on Hungry Howie's Pizza does not necessarily represent that. Look, that's right. Okay. I like Dakota. He made plays on the ball. Tampa Prep. Dixon more of a versatile player in the back end. Tampa Prep more like Mike Edwards. Like Mike Edwards a lot. I think he shows a lot of promise. Dakota is an Arians favorite as well. Okay.
Watch out for Hagen.
Okay, that's very true. You talked to him. Okay, 6-guy rap battle. Let's not do the rap battle.
They don't want to battle. They shook.
He'll make it. About Whitehead. Chris, the first 2 hours, Polk County week. Goodness gracious, Tampa Prep. What's that all about? We already knew that. Geez, best edits video trolling.
Haters.
Dylan says, yep. Tampa Prep, all respect and love, though. Y'all just trash in high school football. Wow.
Haters.
Y'all talk that talk, too. Tampa Prep, make sure you can walk the plank. Dreadnoughts.
Boom.
There you go. I remember Arian said he loved Peyton Barber so much on film in the offseason before he started. And then look what happened. Dreadnoughts, says Tampa Prep. They were talking. Cash made the ride down I-4 to Armwood, and it got fire, I guess. Armwood
fired?
Yep. Armwood shut him down, arguably one of the top running backs in Bowman. Clemson signee. Johnny Dean, I've been in and out of here so much tonight. I have no clue what we're talking about. Johnny Dean, we usually don't know what we're talking about here. We're just talking. Laugh out loud. They're talking high school football here on the Sports Web. Johnny Dean, you're from Florida. Absolutely. He is from Florida, but he's in Pennsylvania. If they don't have an NFL season, would they still make a Madden this year? Because I've already pre-ordered mine. Let's talk about that real quick, gentlemen. First and foremost, Madden 20, Madden 21. What's the difference besides the cover, which Lamar Jackson now has the supposed curse?
Madden is trash.
Nothing good.
Awful.
Bring back
EA
2K.
is awful. They do. Don't even get me started on how awful Madden is. But I commented right after that, and so they already made it. So it doesn't matter if the season's played or not.
Joshua, not a big fan of Madden. I think it's the gameplay. It's the same every year.
It's just the same thing every year, and then they put in stuff that you don't want to use, and and now you have to use it, and they take away stuff like franchise.
They take away stuff and then put it back in and say it's a new feature.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on EA. They ruin everything.
Oh my God, that whole journey process from 2 years ago or last year.
Oh, yeah.
You go to the combine, and you got to make the right decision within 30 seconds, and this and that was just like, what am I playing here? This is like an app game or something like that. It was just exhausting. I didn't even make it out of the combine.
I never played that, but
Look,
kind of sounds fun, to be honest.
Let's say this, Rick. I don't know if you're a big time Madden player, but they had Migos and they had Little Yachty on it. They spent more time with putting those guys on the improving the game. That's where I think the downfall is. Do you agree? Okay, there you go. Are you a Madden player? You play Madden, Rick?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. When's
That's because Marvin Harrison played.
Oh, wow. Well, would you be able to play some Madden this year? You think you're going to get into it again? Maybe we'll have a Bucs report league.
Hey.
Well, you guys would get smoked, but it's still a bad game.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Big talk over there.
A big board.
I'll take that bet any day.
Any day.
Yeah, you need a I don't even know what to say. I've been beating everyone in bets, so.
Oh well.
Hey, I am
Andrew,
0-1. I am 0-1, but I am holding basically the last 3 years of PS4 Maddens in my hand, and I'm looking over to my left, and I see 3 versions of PS3. I got a few versions in PS2 locked away. Guys, I've been playing Madden for a long time, and I can tell you right now that the only way that you're going to save Madden in the future is if you take all the EA games across the board, the big 4 right off the bat, and you make those games like $200 right off the bat, and you say for the next 10 years or until the next console comes out, all the DLC after that is going to be like $10 or $20, and you basically get the same game with updates over and over again. So your franchises and stuff like that actually become fun to play, because that's what it's missing right now. I can't make a Toronto or a Canadian NFL team just in general for the last 7 Madden games unless I take Jacksonville and trade everyone and wait 4 years to relocate. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I just want to build a team on every platform and have every logo available to me.
Yeah.
They had that in 2008. That was the last good one. Donovan McNabb, I think, was on that one in 2008. It's been awful ever since.
Yeah, when everyone was jacked like this.
2K needs to come back. With
The ambulance came on the field.
Crib. The soundtrack was amazing. Bring back 2K. but it's not going to happen. So whatever.
The best Matt in here, and I don't know if you know about this, Rick. Michael Vick was on the cover. I mean,
98.
Well, that was 03, I think.
Or 03, sorry. Yeah, 03. My apologies.
They had the franchise, and they also had the combines and everything like that. But anytime you got Michael Vick, you could run around all over the place. Wasn't
cheat code.
Yes, that's it. Exactly.
Well, that's why the
You go
next
through the
one is going to be
combine.
the same thing.
You
Sorry.
go to the draft and you see who all the best graded players were, and then you go back because you don't save after the draft, and then you draft like all A-rated players. So your franchise team has got like the best drafted players.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's go on to the dude here really quick. Read the rest of the comments. Let's see what the dude has to say. Welcome to the Revolution.
Hey, how are we doing tonight, everybody? I had to come back in and say hi to the other guys because they weren't here.
Adrian!
Hey,
No one was here when you came back.
Hey, listen. I'm in the process of filing for my stimulus, so you'll have to bear with me. So I was looking at the comments, and first of all, boy, if Rick ain't the slickest mother you-know-what in the room, I don't know what we're going to go and talk about here. But anyway, I was looking at the comments. Hey, Nick, I remember you picked a fight with Pittsburgh media.
Yeah.
And then Baltimore media. Then you turned the Buccaneer media fan base on Twitter against each other, and there was a battle royale. And now you've got Buccaneers #1 Twitter media harasser or whatever. The dude thinks his name is Jameis 101. I guess he's mad at you now too, huh, buddy?
I mean, I said the Donovan Smith thing. I tweeted it out. I wouldn't just say it if I didn't think it was true. So, I mean, you can hate it all you want, but
What did he say now?
Well,
we'll go over it later.
Okay.
It's big.
Anyway, hey, go to Twitter and tweet in Nick Citro's name, and the tweeter will give you all the tweets about this. It's pretty funny. The dude wanted to say, great job tonight, guys. 6 people in a phone call? I don't know. That sounds like a new TV show.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks for tuning in, everybody. YouTube, the YouTube comment section has been going off tonight, so check that out on the replay. Appreciate everybody. Rick Brown, man. Dude, I just want to. Gotta love that guy. Joshua Allen. Hey man, you got headphones, bro. You're official. We got to put a little Bucs Report logo on the side of that headphone there.
Yeah.
And then, and before I get off, we got to get to a point where we can put. Well, hey, easy. Hey, look, I abide for almost everything. We do got to get to a point where we put on some Backstreet Boys and we get some quality lip syncing from Andrew Faubert. If you haven't checked it out, it'll make you laugh. Nick, I see you're still training for that MMA fight, brother. Is that because you keep picking Twitter wars, or what's going on?
Why do you keep saying I'm going to be in the MMA? Why does everyone keep saying that?
If he buys,
well, I was talking to the professor Johnny Dean a while back about that, and he pointed out that with Nick's new haircut, and he's got the cord.
It's the same haircut I've always had. It's the same thing. I'm just not wearing glasses. That's the only difference.
You have someone watching this that you're like, hey.
You're standing there in the camera all jacked up. It just felt like MMA fight, like you were going to do a weigh-in or something.
Oh man, that's steel right there. Wow.
Still, too much pizza up there. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All down here. Too much pizza and ice cream. It's the quarantine 19.
That's what it is. All right, so
coronavirus.
Hey, but hey, Andrew, Joshua, Nick, Peter, Rick, earlier, Anthony, all the guys, great job. We started this show with a guy named Ozzy, and we're ending it with this cast of motley characters here. So if you're paying attention or you're watching, you don't see anything like this ever, let alone 3 nights a week on Bucs Report. So great job, guys. The dude has to go finish stimulating his stimulus registration. We appreciate the love. Hey, stay safe. Wash your hands. Practice the social distancing. Okay, and just don't be an asshole. You know what I mean? All right.
It's a very stimulating talk right there.
That it was. All right,
I'm
we're gonna
stimulated.
comments, and I promise we'll get you out of here because I'm about done myself. It says Nick knows. Let's see. Oh, goal Wolves. By the way, Gronk played there. I'm in Pittsburgh. Okay, or lived in Florida for 40 years though. Still City. Nick says it's already been made. So Nick writing in the comments there. Yes, sir, says Tampa Prep. Matt Breida from the 49ers. Now the Fins have him. True. Johnny Dean, Florida high school football is king, though. The Dreadnoughts a few years back played the best high school team in Pennsylvania and beat them 55-6. 6 camera shots, pretty cool. Absolutely. Yeah, Dreadnoughts always been good. When you recruit kids to play at the school like Castle, you expect that, as Polk County's own Rick Brown would say. Rick knows Lakeland for sure. Tampa Prep says Florida's got the best football for sure. It's different down here at the bottom of the map. Where is Teriyaki Guy tonight? Please don't. I got Broads in Atlanta. Alex Fleming. What is this?
Broads in Atlanta.
A sports version of Hollywood Squares. Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, a.k.a. David Spade. Florida boy. Laugh out loud. Taylor Allen. Alex Fleming. I literally just text Josh asking where you were. Teriyaki probably eating.
She also texted me that Rick is an OG. So I'll throw that out there, too.
There you go.
Thank you, Taylor.
Mike L. Great news to respect his coach regardless. I think he will. He's been stuck at work. I think he has 4 jobs. Tampa,
Busy man.
yes.
Is he Jamaican?
That's it. Hey, man. Hey, man.
Hey, man.
We got a job. I got a job washing clothes. Hey, man. Okay, I'm sorry. Where did you get that?
It's not a beach shirt. It's not. I'm going to borrow a line from. Would you shut up? It's not a beach shirt. It's a nice button-down shirt. It's a casual.
Did you just come from the beach, Josh?
Polo. I want to look professional. Come on, leave me alone.
Dylan, we got swag here on the sports web. Swag. Why do you call him billboard? All I've seen is a billboard. Goodness gracious, Tampa Prep. Anthony Holroom looks Bucksville. That's dope. I'm convinced this is from Washington.
DC, baby. True sale. That's true.
There you go. Mike.
Oh, geez.
You're all a non-situation. Bruce Arians in the press box 2020. Dylan. Jameis 101 already in the comments about D. Smith. Nick, he's triggered. Jameis 101. Like, who is he? We don't know, but we've had him on the show.
We're getting close, my friends.
What my wife does for a living. We'll find out who Jameis 101 is real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Edits video, a jerk. Wow. Dylan Casey, what comments is Jameis 101 in? Tampa Prep, he's playing on a damn island. The hardest position in all of sports, protecting a quarterback. Playing left tackle blindside. No other sport where you have expected to protect a player from serious injury. This is real. Where is that's why blocking tight end is so important there. That's where Gronk comes in.
Thank you.
Vita Vea eats turkey. Tampa Prep, my name is Jeff. Eat up.
My name is Jeff.
Listen, a bunch of guys played the worst ball of their career of Brady, in his opinion. He's a troll. Ask Peter. Dylan says he lost me to Antonio Brown. Literally played 1 game with Brady and had a great game. He did.
Yeah, I was there. Beautiful.
101 and butt hurt. Ouch. Best virtual edits video. Yeah, he's always under Nick's post on some weird stuff. I think him and Nick got a friendly rivalry going, if you will. I mean, they go back and forth.
I don't have anything against him. Jameis 101 has backed me up in the Pittsburgh Steelers saga. So, I mean, I can't really say anything bad about him.
That is true.
I just think he likes to debate people. That's all. And that's okay. He can do that here on the Sports Web. We'll have him back someday. He probably wants to marry Nick. Who knows? I don't know about that.
Those new glasses and that haircut. Who wouldn't?
It's the same haircut.
Let's see. I forgot Anthony Monday was there. He's been so quiet. Tampa Prep, laugh my ass off. Laugh out loud. Johnny Dean, no teriyaki tonight. No teriyaki. Tampa Prep.
I don't even know who that is.
What the heck is sign Eric Berry for safety.
Oh, stop. Oh, that's who that is? Oh, my God.
That's what we need. The white widow oil is the best. I'm from Polk.
Polk County, stand up.
There you go. Andrew loves that oil. Christopher Cole, Bartow Yellow Jacket.
Bartow.
Trying to get that oil.
Andrew covers himself in oil and plays hockey.
It's only happened once.
Maple syrup in the hair.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Like Super Troopers, best version.
Kelowna Pond 2013, but never happened.
Fort Meade Miners says Uncle D. Good stuff. Dude is in a 6-way. No. Jameis can go to bed. I'm tired of him. Taylor Allen. There's some really talented players on the Bucs offense. They each have very unique skill sets. They need to trust that Tom will make the best decision to put the ball where it needs to be for a win. That is Taylor Allen, the wife of Joshua Cole Allen, and she is very intelligent. So there you go. Great job. Got a good one.
That's not your mom?
You shut up.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, man.
You already went through
it was there. I'm sorry. It was there, man.
Oh, man.
Jameis 101 is a hater. Nick, don't worry. Tampa Prep.
Now
Yes.
she can never come on the show again.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
I'm kidding. You know what I mean? Look at these boys.
They're going to fight about this later. Good going, Andrew.
I know. I'm aware. The Canadians ruin everything.
Oh, blame Canada.
Tell me about it.
Brown. Nick, look in the mirror, bro. Nick pumping up for Jameis 101. Laugh out loud. Stimulus. You're not getting that. Johnny Dean. Hey, David Spade did show up. Peter leave the impressions to Andrew. Okay, I'll definitely do that. Tampa Prep laughing. Andrew needs to do an impression. Andrew, really quick, do an impression.
Christopher Walken.
Yes, do the Walken.
Oh, crap. Okay, hold on one second.
Any music or what?
Okay. No. Okay, so if we're gonna win the games on Sunday, we're gonna need more cowbells up in the stands in order to hear everyone. We need more. Yeah, I think we're gonna need a little bit more.
All right,
that's all I got for you.
That's it. All right, Andrew is drunk, and some of the Buccaneer, Joshua's mom has got it going on.
Oh no! What did I do? I'm sorry.
I thought it was your sister. I'm just saying. All right,
That just means I'm going to age even better than I already look. I'm happy with that.
Hey, take it as a compliment, Drew. Take it as a compliment, bro.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. Joshua Cole Allen, go ahead and promote yourself.
At Twitter, Joshua_C_Allen. Go on Nick Citro, the poll master. He's got a poll, and do me a favor and vote for me. Try to get on there. You know, I'm up and coming with my Twitter, trying to put out as much content as I can. So try to get me in that bracket where I can, go up against the big dogs like Citro and Mr. Peter Blake over there. Articles are coming out, trying to get more interviews, trying to get more people on the sports web. I'll be on here Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week. And I'll also be on Thursday Night Live with Charles Richardson. Looking forward to a couple podcasts I might be doing. Might pop on Blake's show, might pop on Andrew's show. You never know where I'll be. I'm everywhere and I'm nowhere at the same time.
That might have been the greatest exit speech of all time.
That was really good.
There you go, Joshua Allen. Thanks a lot for coming on the Sports Web, all right?
Absolutely. Good night, guys. Always a pleasure. Marathon man. Had to be here with you boys.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, Andrew Fulbert, the big board out of Canada. Go ahead and promote yourself.
So before I do that quick, I just got one request from Rick Brown. So if I can ever make it down to Tampa, I heard in this podcast about the reason why he calls you the Buzz, Now, I know we're not going to get into that story today or anytime on a live television or camera. But when I come down there, Misty, thank you. When I come down there, I'm going to want to hear how you got this name.
Okay.
You can definitely hear how I got the name, but
he's going to be there too.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. So
no, you can find me on Twitter, Andrew_Fulbert. Check out North Sports. I got my last show of the season, episode 15, coming up next Saturday, June 27th. where I'll be giving away that grand prize right there, Reese McGuire auto, and a few other cards that are worth some cash, I guess you were saying, an unopened pack. We never know what's going to be in there. I just opened up some packs today. Got myself a Pat McAfee, so I'll be opening up packs here and there. Check me out on all social media platforms, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also part of Nick Citro's bracket. I am not doing very good on it, but I mean, I just got on Twitter, and I'm Canadian, and we don't really have Twitter. So thank you, everybody, and I will be talking to you soon.
All right, there you go. Andrew Fulbear, the big board out of Canada. Let's go to Nitro Nick Citro. Go ahead and promote yourself, my friend.
Twitter handle, always the same. Put it here so I don't have to say it. I've been doing the polls, as everyone has been saying. So play in bracket, go vote, and then we'll do the main one with 64 people. So Peter will be in it. A couple other people from Bucs Report. What'd you say?
I said vote for me. I want to
vote for you. Well, yeah. And then I mean, I haven't been writing as much as I would like. I've been busy with grad school stuff, but still on Twitter, still posting news as much as I can. So if you ever want to talk Bucs football or football in general, you can always DM me. Usually not on Facebook as much, but definitely on Twitter. So
all right,
go there.
There you go, Nitro Nick Citro. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution. All right.
Thank you. See you, Rick.
All right, and we got Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown. More buzz in the Charlotte Hornets. I know, I got to keep on saying it. Go ahead and promote yourself.
Nothing to promote. Hey, I'm just happy to be on this show, being a part of you guys. You guys are really running it all. I'm just happy to you guys like an old man hear old stories and all of that. But no, find me on Twitter at RickBrown91. If you talk to me, I'll talk to you back. If you don't talk to me, I won't say nothing to you. So that's the way it works.
And look, even though you're an OG, I always learn this from my father. Of course, we got Father's Day coming up. So everybody out there, if you have a father, if you don't, definitely honor them and have a nice, good Father's Day. But my father always told me, respect your elders. And I definitely have lots of respect for the OG himself, Mr. Buzz, Rick Brown. Happy Father's Day, brother.
Thanks, Pete. I really appreciate you, man. And keep doing what you're doing. Hey, webheads, do what you do.
That's it. That's it. All right, man. Thanks a lot. There you go, Rick Brown out of here. And of course, I'm your host, Peter Blake. Again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I'll leave you with this. I did lose my father a couple years ago, and I always talk about this. I'm not going to have a show on Sunday, but the sports web is the antithesis of what he would want. And I believe that every day that we do this show is just a beautiful thing. But he had this idea, his grand idea. And I think we execute it every night here on Bucs Report to make you guys feel like you're superstars, to make the correspondents feel like they're stars. And they are stars of this platform, which is growing. So I just have to say, I was definitely blessed to have my father in my life. This is dedicated to you, Dad, here in RPB Studios. And to all your fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And definitely don't take them for granted. Honor them and be blessed by them. And of course, we'll be back on Monday night here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook. Of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And do 3 things for me on the Evolution. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Stay safe. And I'm giving you something to think about. Have a good night. You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense.
At Life's Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.